Most respected Director of IQAC, Professor Arudinambi sir, learned resource person, Dr. R. Lakshmi Narayanan sir from National Sanskrit University, Tirupati, and my dear participants. Good evening to all. Today, we are on the 5th day of the short-term course on yoga, the tool for harmonizing the self and the world. At the outset, let us inhale the Spirit of God. May we start the program with prayer. Prayer by Dr. V. Susila Madam.
Very good evening to one and all. Om Shahana Vavatu Shahanau Bhunaktu Shahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Let me have the pleasure of introducing Professor Dr. R. Lakshmi Narayanan. Sir is working as Assistant Professor in Department of Yoga and Vijnana from National Sanskrit University, Tirupati. He has served as a resource person in 10 conferences and seminars. He has published 2 books, 9 articles, and presented 8 papers in national and international conferences. His area of specialization is general yoga training and yoga therapy. Such a dynamic personality is here to handle the session on Taming the Mind. On behalf of IQAC-ANNAMALAI University, a warm welcome to you, sir. The platform is yours.
Sir? Sir Lakshmi Narayana, sir? Sir? Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, sir? Are you here, sir?
Unmute yourself, sir. Lakshmi Narayan, sir. Sir, Lakshmi Narayan, sir. Unmute, sir.
1 minute. Sir, please unmute my photo, sir. I am just sitting through the laptop. Please unmute my photo.
Sir, you unmute your camera, sir, yourself only.
Yes. Now I am audible, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right, sir. Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Respected Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Professor Kathiresan, sir. Respected Registrar, Professor Sita Raman, sir. Director for IQAC, Professor Arivudai Nambi sir, all coordinators, all organizers, secretaries of Annamalai University, and dear participants. Namaste, good evening to one and all. At the outset, I thank Honorable Vice Chancellor sir and the Registrar sir of Annamalai University. I also thankful to Professor Suresh sir, Dr. Venkatachalapati Garu, Dr. Susila Madam, Assistant Professor, Department of Yoga, for giving me this opportunity to deliver a lecture on 1 week virtual multidisciplinary short-term course, that yoga, the tool for harmonizing the self and the world. Present my topic, that is taming the mind. It is clear, sir? I am audible? Right.
Yes, sir.
Taming the mind is very difficult task, as in the words of Lord Arjuna in the conversation of Kurukshetram between Arjuna and Krishna. He himself admitted, Asamsayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. How tough it is to control the mind, tame the mind during the crisis. It is a well-known fact to all of us when the situation arises. But the sadhakas who are having certain practices, they are able to overcome this difficulty up to their capacity. But here, I am going to present my topic under the specific headings, that is Introduction to Yoga in brief. Not going to explain the concepts of yoga, more details. Introduction of yoga in brief. Various definitions of yoga, what we are understanding through definitions, the importance of mind. And mind only the idealistic approach. Then what is mind? Dynamics of mind. Nature of mind through the various shastras like Bhagavad Gita, Yoga Sutras, and Upanishads. Finally, taming the mind through specific yogic practices, that is Asana, Pranayama, and certain gazing practices, including the technique of meditation. This is my approach in explaining this present topic, taming of the mind. Now let us come into the brief introduction of yoga. That is a well-known fact. Yoga is a word, is from the Sanskrit root word called as yuj and yuzir. What it means in brief, yujjanena iti yogaha. Here the unite refers to the union of Jivatma and Paramatma. That is one of the best authentic text in yoga. Jivatma Paramatma Samyogo Yoho Yoga. The another sense to integrate. Here we are integrate the all human components like the physical body, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. We are going to unite to attain the highest reality, that is yoga or samadhi. For this purpose, Patanjali Maharshi defined yoga as Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Chitta Vritti Nirodha Yoga. So here we are going to understand some concepts which are very close to this topic, that is Chitta and its Vrittis. Here, what is Chitta? This is the greatness of Sanskrit. Here the Chitta is the combination of three things: Manasu, Buddhi, Ahankara. These are the three things where we are behaving with every individual when the situation arises. Previous one. But according to Vedanta Paribhasha, here Chitta means it is the combination of four. That is Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara, and Smriti. These four are considered as Chittam. And another important definition by Yoga Vasistha, one of the authentic texts on yoga, Manah Prashamanopaya Yoga Ityavidiyate. Why I am showing this definition means the need and importance in understanding the mind. So either Yoga Vasistha or Yoga Sutra of Patanjali is insisting the mind is the major component in understanding the reality. So according to Vedanta Paribhasha, they are classifying the Chittam and its functions. Sacha Vrittis Chaturvida. Vritti is of 4 types. What are they? Samshayo, Nishchayo, Garvaha, Smaranamiti. Evam Vida Vritti Bedena, Ekamapyantaha Karanam, Manaiti, Vruddhiriti, Ahankariti, Chittamiti, Vyakhyayate. It means Taduktam, Mano Buddhir Ahankara Chittam, Karanamantaram. So these 4, what is means Manas? It is a recording faculty which receives impression from the external mundane world by the Prakriti. Then what is the Buddhi? It is the discriminative faculty to classify the impressions which is collecting from the mind, Manas. And the Ahankara, it is the expression of the ego senses which claims the impressions of its collecting from the mind. And the Chitta, this is stores all the informations as individual knowledge under the Smriti. So these are the 4 functions of Chittam as according to the Vedanta Paribhasha. Another sense, according to Kathopanishad, what is the connection among all these things? Indriyabhya parahyarde, ardebhyascha param manaha, manasastu para buddhi, buddhiretma mahan paraha. No doubt the indriyas, the sense organs are going to collecting all the things from the external world and it is fed to the mind. The mind is pursuing and strongly feeling about these things, whereas the buddhi is the more superior than the mind due to the capacity of discrimination. The finest superior, that is Chit, that is Atma, is the superior to all this faculty. When we are going to understand, wait, slide is moving, madam, please. Any one of you, slide is moving. Is any one of madam? So my slide is moving or stable? Okay, right. Now, what is mind? According to Yoga Vasistha, one of the authentic texts is describing Yadartha Pratibhanam Tanmana Ityavidiyate Parasya Pumsaha Sankalpa Mayatvam Chittam Uchyate. Here I am going to explain the mind. Next we are going to what are the techniques and tools to taming the mind. Yadartha Pratibhanam Tanmana Ityavidiyate. Whatever the things, objects is perceived in the nature, the mind is the first object to perceive these things through their senses. Parasya Pumsaha Sankalpa Mayatvam Chittam. So all this information will reach and gathered by the thought process and it reach the mind. Anantasya Atma Tattvasya Sarva Shaktir Mahatmanaha Sankalpa Shaktir Chittam Yadrupam Tanmano Viduhu. This extraordinary perception of the mind in gathering the information through the senses, mind is gained such a capacity by the association of the Chittam. When the mind is gained such capacity in collection of all these things through the senses, is perceived by the association of Chittam. How strong the mind is associated, it is getting these qualities. When we see and try to understand the dynamics of the mind, mind pertains to a complex of faculties that are involved in what are the functions: remembering the things, perceiving the surroundings, evaluating, considering, and deciding the objects or information which we are collected. Our mind is also categorized in 3 distinct levels. They are, it is clear, conscious state, subconscious state, and unconscious state. Then in brief of this is each state, conscious state. It is the first level of our consciousness and refers to immediate experience, just like the Jagrata Avastha. It deals with the input from our senses, analysis, information, whatever we are collecting through the senses and feeding to the mind, that is in the conscious state. Then coming to the subconscious state, just like the dreamful state. Subconscious is the next state to hold information which is beneath our immediate awareness. Such information may be achieved as memories which do not readily come to the force, which is in the smriti. And the finest state, that is unconscious state, much deeper than our unconscious awareness, conscious awareness, that is primitive and instinctual desires. It influences our behavior to a large extent, even though we may be categorically aware of it. Just to take an example for this. One of the authentic texts of Yoga Rahasya by Krishnamacharya, the text actually belongs to the 4th century by the Nada Muni, who belongs to the Nada cult. But the Krishnamacharya able to recollect in the 18th century by his visit, and when he was in trance state, he was able to recollect by the lineage of Guru Parampara. That we can understand as subconscious state. So these are the various states of mind and its functions. Now coming to the nature of mind, what is its nature? According to Bhagavad Gita, the popular spiritual guide, and particularly the 6th chapter Dhyana Yoga, it is explaining various concepts related to the mind. Take an example. Chanchalam hi manakrishna pramadi balavadrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. This is the inability of the great warrior Arjuna, how difficult to control the mind. Chanchalam hi manakrishna, what is the difficulty? Means mind is very fickle, very agitative. So such a great trainer under the valid guideship of Lord Krishna, he himself is having difficulty in controlling the mind. Pramadi balavadrudam tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. He comparing this, how tough it is to control the vayu. Is it possible to stop the breeze in the nature? One of the Pancha Mahabhuta. How difficult. In the same way, the mind is also very difficult to control. This is the opinion of Arjuna presented in front of the Krishna. But the Krishna is responding in such a way, asamsayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. Lord Krishna also expressed the same, but there is a solution. When you understand this, the same is similar in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali Maharshi also. Asamsayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam. Undoubtedly, it is very tough to control, but there is a way. What is the solution? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruhyate. The persistent practice and the non-attachment will help to control the mind, stable the mind. When you see the same in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the 1st chapter, in the process of a Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Patanjali Maharshi is also insisting the same wording, Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tan Nirodha. So the agitated mind is going to be controlled, stabled, or tamed by the Abhyasa and Vairagya. But here is a doubt, what is Abhyasa? Patanjali is very specifically giving the practices of Abhyasa. Abhyasa is a simple English translation as his practice, but he gave the specific design of Abhyasa. Tatra sthito yatno abhyasaha. If you want to practice, you must be stable. Any one of the meditative posture. Tatra sthito. And what is the procedure of continuing the Abhyasa means? One of the wonderful reference. Satu dirghakala nairantarya satkarya asevito drudabhumi. The Abhyasa is followed by 3 categories. One is Satu dirghakala. Second one is nairantarya. Third one is Satkarya asevito. That alone becomes drudabhumi. Your practice becomes grounded strong by following these 3 techniques. One is Dirgha Kala. It is very quite common. Rome cannot build in a day. The greatest things are not achieved in the shortest span of time. So, Dirgha Kala, whether you select a 1 month or 6 months or 1 year or even the lifetime, give sufficient time for sadhana. Satu Dirgha Kala. Nairantarya, don't give unnecessary breaks during this practice. Because of any reason, all these reasons also mentioned in Yoga Sutras as antarayas. The possible antarayas in the course of the practice. Vyadi, Sthana, Samsaya, Pramada, the possible antarayas. So, Satudirgha Kala, Nairantarya, Satkarya Asevito. Your mind is strongly decided it is the greatest and noble thing to continue without a break. Then only it becomes a Drudabhumi, it will be fruitful and successful by the practice. So this is the procedure, methodology to continue your abhyasa as per Patanjali. Whereas Vairagya is the detachment with the things which are not necessary. So Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita in this context and the Patanjali Maharshi is giving more importance either to control the mind, stable the mind or taming the mind towards the destiny of sadhana. These are the practices. Now Yoga Vasistha also insisting the same, giving some importance references to understand the mind according to Yoga Vasistha. How important component in mind. Sankalpam, Sankalpanam Manovidhi, Sankalpat Tannavidyate. Yada Dravyatva Stalila, Tada Svandhiyada Anilat. So all the thought process, that is Sankalpa due to the mind. If no Sankalpa, there is no mind. There is no any thought process, that is Manonashanam or dissolve the mind. Sankalpa Manovidhi, Sankalpa Tannavidyate. Yada Dravyatva Stalila, Tata Sandhiyata Anila. Just it is a comparison. Where there is liquid, there is water is there, and where there is Tada Sandhiyata Anilat, that is fire. So it is a comparison how the strong mind is cause for thought process. And another reference, Yatta Sankalpanam Tatra Tan Mano Angata Sthitam. Sankalpa Manasi Vinne Na Kadachana Na Kechana. Yatra Sankalpanam Tatra Tan Mano Angatan Sthitam. Sankalpa Manasi Vinne Na Kadachana Na Kechana. As long as we have the thought process, the mind exists. Can we imagine the mind and thoughts are not together? It is a little impossible. As long as you have the mind, the thoughts and its process is going on. So, Yatra Sankalpanam Tatra Man Angata Sthitam. Mind is strongly established as long as you are having the thought process. The mind exists if thought process is separated. We cannot witness the things which are present in our surroundings. So, another reference by the same Yoga Vasistha, Manah Karma Phalam Bhunkte Shubham Va Ashubhema Va. It is also clearly understood even by Bhagavad Gita. Manah Karma Phalam Bhunkte Shubham Va Ashubhema Va Atah Chittam Naram Vidhi Bhoktaram Sukha Dukkha Yoho. Mind alone is the receiver or experiences of the results of fruits of all our actions, either good or bad. Shubham Va Ashubhema Va. The results are the fruits of the actions, whether it is good or bad. Mind is alone is going to be received and face and experience. All fruits of the actions, either good or bad, that is receiving by the mind only. So, Nahi Drishyo Adrute Kinchin Manasho Rupamastihi. All these things, if there is things not perceived, it means the mind never exists. Nahi Drishyate Kinchi Manaso Rupamastihi. If there is no any things to experience, it means mind is dissolved. The existence of mind is not present. Chitta etakta sukha dukkhe. Chitta yakte sukha dukkhe. Pleasure and pain are dependent on the mind only. Either the pleasure or pain experienced by the mind only. So, Chitta yakta midam sarvam jagastira charatmakam. Chitta yaktam vidam sarvam jagastira charatmakam. Jagat, the visible universe. Sthira and chara, whatever the immovable objects or movable object. Chittadi navato Rama bandho mishwar sputam. So Yoga Vasishtha Maharshi is insisting Rama, the entire Jagat and the movable, immovable objects are perceived, witnessed by the mind only. This is the reason either the bandho or moksha vapi sputam. It is very clear mind is going to be either to liberate or to be bondage by the mind only. This is very clearly explained in Amrita Bindu Upanishad. There is a Shastrokti, Nadinam Sagaro Gatim, how all the rivers are flowing towards the sea, whatever the text or the Shastra, just like either Upanishad or the Yoga Vasishtha or Bhagavad Gita insisting the same, the nature of the mind, but a little different applications. The same context is explained in Amrita Bindu Upanishad. This is very easy to understand. Manayeva Manushyanam Karanam Bandha Mokshayoho. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam Muktam Yo Nirvishayam Smrutam. Manayeva, mind is the only element or cause for all the human beings, Manushyanam, either Bandha or Moksha, either to bondage, that is to suffer regarding the pain, dukkha, etc., or to the moksha, either to liberate from the suffering. The only element is the mind. Bandhaya Vishayasaktam Muktam Yo Nirvishayam Smrutam. Bandhaya Vishayasakti, you are closely associated, attached with the mind and its repercussions, you will suffer. If you are away from these attachments, Nirvishayam Smrutam, if there is no anything in the mind, there is no any thought process, that is leads to liberation and no suffering from the dukkha. Another reference from the same Yoga Vasishtha, Manah Pranardvanto Dukkani Girikutavat Tadvashadeva Nashayanti Surya Syagreham Yada. So it is a comparison. Manah Pramadvardante Dukkani Girikutavat. Mind, as long as it is associated with the thought process, it is going to be dukkha Girikutavat. So the pain or suffering, just like a mountain, as long as you are strongly associated with the mind and its fluctuations. Nashayanti, if you are detached from the mind and its thought process, Surya Sagrehimam Yada, it is a comparison, hyperbolic explanation, how the sun is going to be dissolved. A mountain of Himam, the large mass of ice is going to be dissolved with the sun rays. So it is a comparison. As long as mind is strongly associated with the thought process, that leads to the Girikotava, Dukkhani, a mountain of suffering. When you are a little detached with the thought process, and it is in a comparison, how the sun is going to dissolve the mountain of ice. This is also from the Yoga Vasishtha. Now, here we understand the human components with a symbolic representation of a Radha. It is also discussed in Veda as Radha Yoga. In the concept of Upanishads and Rigveda, it is considered as Radha Yoga. According to Kathopanishad, Atmanam Radhinam Vidhi Shariram Radhamevatu Buddhim tu Sharadim Vidhi Manah Pragrahamevacha. Here also the clear-cut description regarding the mind. Atmanam Radhinam Vidhi Shariram Radhamevatu. The physical components like the body, mind, senses, intellect, how it is compared with a chariot. Master of the chariot, the the charioteer who is driving this, and these reins how they are controlling the horses. It is a very good comparison. They are explaining the relation between the individual self, the body, and its components with a chariot. The embodied soul, the master of the chariot. Atma, that is the chariot. The body is the chariot. The intellect as the charioteer who is driving, and the mind as the reins which are controlling the horses. So, mind plays a major role in controlling the horses and diverting this ratham or the body towards the right direction according to Kathopanishad. The same is comparing Yada Panchavitistante Jnanani Manasa Saha Buddhischa Navicheshtati Tamahu Paramangatim. Panchavitistante, just these 5 sense organs, including the manasa, all this mind and the sense organs which are feeding the mind. These are by the Buddhist Navicheshti Tamahu Paramagatim. What is Paramagatim? The ultimate reality is when the senses are withdrawing from their sensual enjoyments in the nature or the mundane life, then the mind is detached, pratyahara, from these senses. Automatically the buddhi, intellectual component, navichestati, it is going also withdrawal. This is the state as paramam gatim, the highest state called as chitta vritti nirodha, yoga samadhi. The practitioner sadhaka is reaching this state by withdrawing the senses. It is actually pratyahara according to Yoga Sutras. Including the mind is also dissolved. In this state, buddhi navichestati, it is not going to be interact or work. This is the ultimate state called paramam gati. The same sense, Kathopanishad, tam yoga miti manyanti sthiram indriya dharanam apramatas tada bhavati yogo hi prabhavapyayi. We can see in many places. Just I am going to give some small example also here. Tam yoga miti manyanti sthiram indriya dharanam. Indriya dharanam sthiram. As long as we are attaining the state of the highest reality, that is the Raja Yoga, our indriyas must be sthiram, without any fluctuation, without any distraction. Apramatas tada bhavati yogo hi pravavapyayi. Apramatas tada means up to reaching that highest state, we have to apramata, very careful. Because take an example. What is the relation between Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga means? It is not aware of many people. They are looking these 2 different aspects, but actually, according to Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Hatam vina Raja Yoga ya, Raja Yoga vina Hatha. As long as you are reaching the state of Raja Yoga, you have to continue some little Hatha Yoga practices because they will help you for this purpose. Sthiram indriya dharanam. The basic physical components like asana, pranayama, mudra, bandha, kriya will help you to reach the higher state. So, Hatha Yoga helping as a ladder to reach the higher state of Raja Yoga. Even in this state, apramatas tada bhavati yogo hi prabhavapyayi. Why? The reason, there are some discussions in Bhagavad Gita as yoga brashta. Who is yoga brashta? The sadhakas at point of time, at what a degree of level, they are downfall from their condition. Sorry to say here in this platform, there are some great characters, personalities in the field of yoga. Just up to my mind. Take an example of Dhirendra Brahmachari, who was yoga guru for even the past Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. We don't know the reason he was committed suicide. Take an example of Osho Rajneesh, who was committed suicide in the prison itself. So when we see some higher cadre of yoga sadhakas, unfortunately at one point of time, they became yoga brashta. That is the reason Bhagavad Gita and Upanishad is insisting apramatta stada bhavati yogo hi prabhavapyayi. until to reach the highest state, you must be very careful that there are some incidents and situations where you are coming downfall. So we have to control the indriyas, stable the mind, and taking the path of practice towards the Almighty without any downfall. Now let us coming to the taming the mind. Here also, Swami Vivekananda has rightly said, man is the maker of his own destiny. Shastram is explaining, Yat bhavo tad bhavati. Man is the maker of his own destiny. Yat bhavo tad bhavati. As we journey further, difficulties and hurdles crop up every step. Techniques needed to systematically channelize our willpower again the mind and its manipulation and taming properly, solve the problems for the core of Raja Yoga. This is the insist of Swami Vivekananda. Here I am selecting 2 more slokas from Bhagavad Gita of Dhyana Yoga. Lord Krishna also insisting the same. Lord Krishna also insisting the same. Uddharetmana Atmanam Natmano Syad Yed Atmaiva Kyatmano Bandhuratmaiva Ripuratmanaha. Everyone has to help himself alone. Everyone has to help himself alone regarding the mind. The others will help from the external, and you have to help yourself. In one context of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna addressed himself. Who is taking a 1 step towards him, he will move towards him 100 steps or 1000 steps. This is the first step, the first effort from your side. You have to Uddharatma, improve yourself. No others will come and improve you. First step from your side only. That is Bandhuratma, Rupuratma. Your mind is your own friend, or your mind is your own Ripura, that is the enemy. So the mind is the friend of him whom mind has concerned, but his own mind is concerned as the enemy who is not helping himself. Now coming to the practical aspect of taming the mind with the help of either the Yoga Sutras or the practical aspect of yoga. No doubt the previous discussions, either Yoga Vasishtha or the Upanishads or Bhagavad Gita, knowing what is mind and what is capacities in controlling ourselves, taming towards the positive sides. These are the theoretical aspects. When we are coming to the practical aspects, which is more prompt to the mind, stimulate the mind, let us understand the asana part both in Hatha Yoga or in Yoga Sutras. According to Patanjali Maharshi, Sthiram Sukham Asana. This is, he started in the 3rd component. After Yamanimas, the asana component comes. What is asana means Sthira Sukham Asana. What is the benefit of asana means Tato Dvandva Nabhigata. Here it is over. When you are getting perfected in asana, the outcome is Tato Dvandva Nabhigata. You are overcoming the Dvandvas. This is taming the mind. If you are able to sit quiet for a few hours, it is not so easy. Then what is the output means? You will be mastery over the Dvandvas. What are the Dvandvas? The pair of opposites. Either the cold or heat, failure or success, pain or pleasure, sukha or dukkha, punya or punya, where we are suffering because of the dualities, but you will be overcoming these dualities by getting the perfection in asana. This is Patanjali's reference. Asana means not mere physical practice. Asana is working beyond the body. Then only we will gain this effect of Tato Dvandva Nabhigata. How to attain this state? By the simple mere practice of asana, where Patanjali is particularly confining to the meditative asanas only. And the outcome is Tato Dvandva Nabhiga. How it is possible means by the systematic traditional practice of asana. What is that? This is the traditional systematic practice of asana. Asanas are not mere physical practices. Asanas are working over the body, mind, emotion, and even the beyond. When we are practicing the asanas in such a way, definitely we are reaching the highest state, that is tato dvandva nabhigataha. Then what is the methodology of asana according to Patanjali Maharshi is prayatna, shaitilya, ananta samapatibhyam. There are 4 things. Prayatna, shaitilya, ananta samapati. Whenever we are practicing either the meditative asanas or the other cultural asanas, let us try to observe these things. Before going to practice any asana, there must be prayatnam. There must be some possible good efforts by using some physical involvement, effort, prayatnam. Shaitilya means after reaching the final position, what is the body efforts? It is relaxed. That is shaitilya. Suppose take an example, which is very easy to remember or understand. Paschimottanasana, any one of the asana that I will explain another context. Our systematic practice of asana, that is a traditional format, is followed by vinyasa, swasa, sthiti, drishti. This is almost similar to the present approach by the Patanjali, prayatna, shaitilya, ananta samapati. Just I am explaining the practicality. Suppose when we are practicing asana, there are 4 components, traditional practice of asana. What are they? Vinyasa, swasa, sthiti, drishti. Vinyasa means physical movements. Suppose take an example of Trikonasana or Virabhadrasana or Paschimottanasana. Physical movements are there. The systematic rhythmic movements, vinyasa. Every vinyasa is followed by the shvasa. That is called the breathing. Remember, vinyasa, the physical movements, followed by the shvasa, the breathing, that is the pranic movement is involved. And every asana is having sthiti, final position, where we are getting the maximum spiritual, therapeutic benefit of asana. That is called final position, asana sthiti. After reaching the asana sthiti, what is the condition of the mind? That is ananta samapati. So, vinyasa, physical movements are there. Shvasa, individual specific breathing is there for every moment. Sthiti, every asana, final position is there. And vinyasa, shvasa, sthiti, and drishti. Where is your awareness, observation? That is on subtle points of the body. Or the easiest thing is shvasa. So this is our systematic traditional practice of asana, which is also similar explained by the Patanjali Maharshi as prayatna shaitilya ananta samapatibhyam. So before doing the asanas, all the movements with the efforts, prayatna. After reaching the final position, shaitilya, you must relax all the physical efforts. Then what to do during this final position of asana sthiti? What is the condition of the mind means? Ananta samapati. Ananta is refers to the any divine being, either inside the body or outside the body. And samapati, your mind is going to be dissolved, merged in this divinity. This is the procedure, methodology explained by Patanjali Maharshi regarding the asana practice. And we are also practicing the same procedure called as vinyasa yoga, where it is similar to this approach. Vinyasa, physical movements are there. Shvasa, every movement has its own individual breathing. This is called shvasa and dhyasa. And sthiti, every asana is having the final position where we are staying considerable time, either 10 breathings or 20 breathings regarding the half minute or 1 minute, where we are getting the maximum effect, whether therapeutic effect or spiritual effect asana. And ananta samapati, mind is also focused on this. This is the technicality of practicing asana. Now let us coming to Hatha yogic approach of asana. No doubt in most of the traditions, asanas comes first. When you see the Ashtanga Yoga, Asana, next is Pranayama Pratyahara. When you see the Hatha Yoga tradition, asanas comes in the first component. What is the importance of asana means? Hatasya pradhamangattvadasanam purvamuchyate. In the component of Hatha Yoga like asana, pranayama, mudra, bandha, kriya, meditation, etc., asana comes the first. Kuriyat tadasanam. By practicing these asanas, what are the benefits means? Body and mind is prepared for the attainment. What is that? Stairyam, arogyam, angalagavam. Stairyam, it refers to the mind. Mind becomes steady. Arogyam, it refers to the both body and mind. It is eliminating all the so-called diseases and prepares the body and mind to fit to continue the antaranga sadhana. Angalagavam, body is experiencing the lightness. Stairyam, arogyam, angalagavam. Then only you are fit to the higher antaranga sadhana called as the next practices like pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, etc. This is the importance of Hatha Yoga in preparing yourself to the highest yoga called as Raja Yoga. So, here I strongly believe asana is a component in taming the mind. When you are practicing asana in such a way, that is a traditional method. Then coming to the role of pranayama in taming the mind. There are very many varieties of pranayamas. If you see the Hatha Yoga, there are 8 and above. Ashtakumbhakas, or in other texts, it is more than 8, it becomes 10. And when you see the Patanjali Pranayama, there are 4, Chaturveda, 4 types. What is the core concept of Pranayama is undoubtedly for control the mind, stable the mind, which is taming the mind. What is the benefit of Pranayama according to Patanjali? Dharana Sucha Yogyata Manasaha. The ultimate outcome of pranayama is dharana, concentration, a step just before the meditation. So when you are practicing systematically the pranayama, you are gaining the dharana concentration. It ultimately helps for taming the mind. There are some particular specific pranayama techniques which are mentioned in a very good number of texts. They are helping you more in taming the mind. Take an example of either Geranda Samhita or Yoga Rahasya. Sagarbha Pranayama. No doubt, Pranayama has its own impact on mind. When mantra is added in the Pranayama, that will help more and more to stable the mind. This is the reference from Yoga Rahasya. Sagarbha Chitta Chanchalyam Vinashayati Sattvaram Ayurvruddhi Sattva Shuddhi Roga Nivrutti Revacha. According to the science and the concept of pranayama, ultimately pranayama will help to enhance the longevity. Because Sharira Madhyamam Kalu Dharma Sadhanam. Body is an instrument to perform dharma, our duty. For that we have to live long, healthy. For this purpose, all yoga components including pranayama will help for more. In this special technique of Sagarbha Pranayama, Chitta Chanchalyam Vinashayati Sattvaram. When your pranayama is added with the mantra, where the mantra is given by the Guru, depends on your mentality, mindset. When you are adding this mantra recitation in pranayama, called as Sagarbha Pranayama, it will help you. Chitta Chanchalyam Vinashayati Sattvaram, the agitation of the mind or fickleness of the mind, or any mind-based distractions like the anxiety, depression is easily eliminated, and you will be gained by Ayurvruddhi. Ultimately, it increasing the lifespan. Sattva Shuddhi, mind becomes more sattvikam from Rajasikam and Tamasikam, and Roga Nivrutti, it is eliminating most of the health issues. The same is explained in Hatha Yoga Pradipika also. Pranayamena yuktena sarvaroga kshayo bhavet. If you are practicing pranayama systematically, properly, it will help you for sarvaroga kshayo. Most of the diseases are going to be eliminated by pranayama. If you are wrongly practicing pranayama, sarvaroga samudbhavaha, it is also caused some unnecessary health issues. So this is the role and importance of pranayama. 1, in controlling, and 2, taming. And in the process of varieties of pranayama, that will help you more. Take another reference from Hatha Yoga Pradipika, which is more helpful. Chale vate chalam chittam nischale nischalam bhavet. It is not only a theoretical part. Most of the yoga sadhakas who are there here in this meeting, definitely you are experiencing this immediate benefit. Because the Hatha Yoga Kumbhakas are classified in such a way, the passive pranayamas and active pranayamas. We are experiencing these positive changes then and there. Chale vate chalam chittam nischalam nischalam bhavet. Undoubtedly, taming the mind is difficult. But you are taming this mind with the help of vata, that is the air which we are inhaling and exhaling. This is the connection between the prana and the mind. This is the connection between prana and mind. If controlling the mind is difficult, let us help the mind with the help of prana, because these two are very close together, as it is given in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. Chale vate chalam chittam nischalam nischalam bhavet. Chale vate chalam chittam. If the mind is very fast, our breathing is also very fast. If our mind is very slow and steady, breathing is also following. So we are stable the mind with the help of the breathing. Yogi sthanam apnoti tato vayam nirodhe. This is the reason every sadhaka must perfect in pranayama, controlling the vayu through the various techniques of pranayama or ashtakumbhakas. Now this is one example. What is asana? As Patanjali Maharshi is insisting, tatra sthito yatno bhyasaha. Take an example of the meditative practice. One of the meditative asana, that is swastikasana. Janurvantare samyak krutva padatale ube rujikaya samasena swastikam tat prachakshati. When you are sitting in meditative posture, the same specifications are there in Bhagavad Gita also, in Dhyana Yoga, how to sit, where to sit. Rujikaya samasena, he is insisting. Keeping the spine, trunk, head, neck in straight line and continuing the sadhana. In this sitting meditation posture, let us select any pranayama. I told you previously, there are varieties of pranayamas. Some are heating pranayama, some are cooling pranayama, some are pacify the mind very quickly. Here we are selecting the Brahmari pranayama. The reason how mantra is more effective in pranayama, in the same way, sound is also more effective in pranayama. That is how best the sound helps for the mind to become stable. There are some sounds like Om and the Pranava, just like is the Brahmari pranayama. Look at the Brahmari pranayama. Vegad Gosham, Porakam, Brunganadam, Brungiyanadam, Rechakam, Mandamandam. Just it is the methodology, how to produce the sound in inhalation, how to produce the sound in exhalation in two different sounds. One is the male B and female B. Brungiyan Yogendranam Meva Abhyasa Yogo Chitteka Cha Chidananda Leela. When you are constantly doing the Brahmari pranayama, the mind is absorbed in the bliss. Chidananda Leela, Sat Chittananda Leela. Your mind becomes dissolved. This is the methodology of Brahmari pranayama. What are the benefits are gained in the Brahmari pranayama is mind gets absorbed in the pleasurable, soothing, vibratory sound. Many times we are getting this effect by even chanting properly of Omkar. We are experiencing these changes where the mind is blissful state. It helps integration of the internalized awareness, that is mind becomes antarmukam. Mostly whenever we are handling this agitated mind or some mind-oriented disorders like the anxiety, depression, stress, etc., this pranayama will helpful more. The primary effect of this pranayama is tranquilizing. Just you are experiencing the state of Chidananda Lila, the blissful state. Most of the pranayamas, including the Brahmari, will paves paths for meditation quickly by the Brahmari. So pranayama is beneficial to the suffering from mental tension, stress, anxiety, high BP. These people are more benefited, particularly the mind becomes more quickly taming by the pranayama where it is involved with the sound, like Brahmari. Another technique, that is the Trataka, actually it comes under the section of Kriyas. Trataka is one of the Kriya, which is eliminating the impurities of the eyes. But it is one of the technique where it is helping the mind become more focused. It is a simple technique by the methodology. Nirikshe Nischala Drusha Sukshma Laksham Samahitaha Asur Sampata Paryantam Acharya Tratakam Slokam. Here the technique is continuously gazing a spot. Nischala Drusha, the immovable object, either the jyoti in a lamp or maybe the Sukshma Lakshmi, small object on the wall where there is no other distractions. After fixing the object, you have to continuously gazing your eyes without blinking the eyelids. So it means Charma Chakshu the eyes, Jnana Chakshu the mind, both are continuously focused for a particular time, 4 to 5 minutes. In this process of gazing, Trataka, the parasympathetic is indicated lowering the heart rate and respiratory rate that we can experience in pranayama or in meditation. So according to the science, the parasympathetic nervous system helps to lowering the heart rate and respiration. Emotional balance, that is stability, what is discussed in Yoga Sutras as Tato Dvandva Nabhigataha, that is gained by giving maximum relaxation during the practice of Trataka. After this, the practitioner is experiencing psychophysiological relaxation. That is nothing but the both physical and mental relaxation. That is calmness of the mind, lightness of the body that we are experiencing. One-pointed concentration is improved, the attention fluctuations are reduced. Automatically, when you are getting perfection in Trataka, that leads to dharana, it paves paths for meditation. Single-pointed observation. It has been found the neurotic tendencies such as anger, short temper, suspicious, irritation, all these are reduced after practicing Trataka, and your mind is experiencing the blissful state that is similar to meditation. Those who are practicing properly, systematically, and daily. There are other benefits. There are other therapeutic benefits, that is by the elimination of the impurities present in the eyes, that is the impaired vision. Mochanam netra roganam tandradyanam kapatakam. So in case of any impaired vision, that is long sight, short sight is going to be eliminated, apart from the gazing, concentration, and memory power. But what is the instruction and precaution in this Trataka is Yatra Tratakam Gopyam Yada Hatakapetakam. You must kept practice this in a secret place, means to avoid all possible external distractions during this focus. Suppose you sit for this sadhana, the external sound disturbances, the visual distractions, to avoid, they are insisting, keep practice in a secret place to avoid the possible distractions. Asana, any meditative asana. Pranayama, any pranayama, preferably like Sagarbha Pranayama or Brahmari Pranayama. And regarding the Kriya, one of the best concentrated gazing, that is Trataka. And the popular asana, which is more familiar to all of us, that is Shavasana. Shavasana is one of the best relaxative asana. When you are getting perfected in Shavasana, it takes you towards the experience of Yoga Nidra also. Here, this is the reference. Uttanam Shavavad Bhumau Shayanam Tat Shavasana. Actually, unfortunately, now we are not getting the sound sleep even during the night. Most of us are having some distractions or disturbances, dreams during the sleep, even in the night. How we are getting very effective relaxation in the short span of 10 or 15 minutes of Shavasana means there is some methodology. When you are applying this methodology, when you are physically relaxed like a corpse pose, just like a dead body, what are the changes taken place? What is the outcome means? Chitta Vishranti Karakam. Mind is completely relaxed from its fatigue and the disturbances. This is the benefit of Shavasana, but here they eliminate the physical as well as mental tensions. God is created a night and a day to experiencing these results of Shavasana during the night. But unfortunately, our lifestyle, modern lifestyle, is not supposed to experience such a relaxation, as we are going to the late sleep, some undigested food, unsuitable food, more number of hours exposing to these electrical screens like the TV, mobile, or etc. This will makes our sleep late and just poor and not getting this much of relaxation. So let us benefit by the Shavasana. So this process of Shavasana will tranquilize the mind, and the experience of pranayama, dhyana will helps to one, control the mind and taming the mind towards our further progress of dharana, dhyana, etc. There are some other benefits by the, yes, another one is the Om chanting. Previously, we discussed asana and its role in taming the mind, pranayama and various types, that is Brahmari and other pranayamas. Next, the technique of Trataka and relaxation asana, that is Shavasana. Coming to the Omkaram. Om chanting is one of the authentic practice which will help us, because previously we discussed it. Sound and mind has its own influence in calming the mind. Sound has its own influence that we discussed in Brahmani also. So here, Omkaram is one of the universal sound, rhythmic sound, which is calming our mind from almost all possible distractions and trouble of the mind, either certain mental disorders like the anxiety, stress, depression, hypertension, insomnia. Surely the systematic practice of Om chanting that will help to overcome these disturbances of the mind. Many scientific studies have proven how best the Om chanting will come out with the positive effect both on the body and mind. Om is recited number of times, no confined to the specific number, depends on the situation and our time. We have to chant the Omkaram, which is internalized attention produced. The number of attention fluctuations is reduced. Suppose our mind is fluctuating more number of times, that is going to be slowed down. Number of occurrences of fluctuation is going to be minimized. So concentration is improved. So according to the scientific analysis, alpha rhythm is nicely synchronized and blood pressure is reduced. There are many instances where B.K. Iyengar and Krishnamacharya, they themselves witnessed in their sadhana of pranayama and meditation, where the heart rate is reduced, blood pressure is reduced. Om recitation done in a lower pitch and prolonged manner produces parasympathetic predominance and bring about calmness and peace. No doubt. This discussion is there in the Amrita Bindopanishad also. What are the changes takes place when you are chanting high pitch or low pitch? So in the same way, here by the scientific study, when you are chanting Om systematically, rhythmically, parasympathetic predominance brings calmness to the mind. The results have been published in various scientific journals. Most of the mental disturbances and suffering like depression, anxiety is reduced by this Om chanting. Psychophysiological relaxation is increasing by doing Om chanting. Emotional stability, mental peace, balance is increasing, tensions and removed. This is none other than Tato Dvandva Nabhigataha. Whether you are practicing asana systematically, traditionally, with the help of Vinyasa, Shwasa, Sthiti, and Drishti, either the pranayama, including the Om chanting, when you are practicing all in a proper way, that is, we will be able to, one, control the mind from all these possible agitations. Second thing, stable the mind. It is nothing but the taming the mind. These are the specifications. There are some other references as by the Yoga Vasistha or Bhagavad Gita. Here mostly we no need to discuss, which are more familiar practices in Bhagavad Gita. It is very clear. What are the specifications? We are living in the entirely different situations like home atmosphere, office atmosphere, job atmosphere. How to attain this state means, for this we have to sacrifice something. To attain this state, either by sadhana or by arranging the other things, we have to sacrifice. That is clearly mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga, 10 to 16 slokas. Dhyana Yoga 6th chapter, they mentioned 10th to 16th sloka. What are the prerequisites for arranging these things? Here I am going to explain one more thing. How to tame this is all very clear to all of us, but depends on the situation and the individual type. We have to follow our own methodology. Just to try to understand the divine being, Lord Krishna, is explained 2nd chapter Sankhya Yoga, consisting of 72 slokas. Then the entire essence of the solution, where the Gita starts with the Arjuna Vishadam. The entire solution itself is there in the 72 slokas of Sankhya Yoga, where it is explaining the concept of Atma and how to understand the reality and unreality. Most of the knowledge, essence is preserved in the 72 slokas of Sankhya Yoga. Then what is the need of going for further adhyayas, the remaining adhyayas? The suffering, dukkha is there in the 1st chapter, Arjuna Vishadam. For that, the entire solution, profound knowledge is explained in the 2nd chapter itself, that is Sankhya Yoga. The theoretical realization of Atma, solution for all the suffering in 72 slokas. Then what is the need to go for further? That is the 3rd chapter, Karma Yoga, 4th chapter, Jnana Yoga, 6th chapter, Dhyana Yoga, 12th chapter, Bhakti Yoga. What is the need means? To facilitate every individual depends on the mindset. There is one English proverb, one stitch cannot fit all. So all are not intellectuals. All are not able to understand these theoretical concepts of Sankhya. So the great Lord Krishna is facilitating the different methodology for the different mindsets. This is one approach. Again, observe the same philosophy of yoga, Patanjali Maharshi. He himself also clearly explained the 1st chapter. 1st chapter itself is explaining the entire about yoga. What is yoga? Chitta-vritti nirodha. How to attain that state? Abhyasa vairagyabhyam tan nirodha. Then is over. He is explaining the concepts of samadhi. Everything is explained. Then again, why he is going to explain the next 3 chapters means, again, he wants to facilitate for the people who are not able to understand these concepts. If you see the core of yoga, people are classified into 3. Arurukshu, Yunjana, Yogaruda. Arurukshu means some people go on planning yoga for years and years without practice. Starting problem. Whereas Yunjanas means they are like me and you. Already we are in some stream of practice. Irrespective of the standards and degree, somehow we are doing some asana, pranayama, dharana, dhyana. We are in the level of practice. They are comes under the Yunjana. Yoga Ruda, who are attained the state. So, either Patanjali Maharshi or Bhagavan Lord Krishna is facilitating various approaches for their practice and getting perfection. In the same way, prerequisites, what are the prerequisites for the sadhana? That is clearly explained in Dhyana Yoga from 10 to 16 slokas. Here, the 10th sloka, Yogi Indita Satadamatmanam Rahasistitaha, Ekaki Yatachittatma Nirasi Niparigraha. So the person who is going to control his mind, he has to maintain certain specifications. That is, he is remain to sit alone, where there is no possible distractions. And his mind is controlled without desire and without the sense of possession. Ekaki Yatachittatma Nirashi Niraparigraha. He has to sit alone. When we are sit with the many, lot of thoughts arise and a discussion goes. When you are sitting silent, the unnecessary interaction will reduce. If you trying to focus your mind, automatically it will be stable. So arrange the environment. Next, again, he is giving the more description. Suchau deshe pratishtapya stiramasana matmanaha. Natyuchitam natinicham chelajana kushotram. If you coming to the Hatha Yoga tradition, they are giving wonderful specifications regarding the places, seatu, time, how to do it, all these things. The more popular Bhagavad Gita also giving the same. Suchau deshe pratishtapya, having established himself in the right place where the environment will support for calming the mind. And having some other specification like the seat, which is right to sit either any kind of the varieties of, that is the kusha or the any deer skin or what is possible at present. These are arranging ourselves. Next, what to sit, what to do after sitting is tate gragam manakrutva yatachittendriya kriha upavishwasane yunja yogatma vishuddhaye. After arranging these things, after sitting, assuming a posture, one-pointed mind, which is very difficult to do it. Let us take some yogic applications like Shvasameda Dhyasa or Pranayama or Sagarbha Pranayama. So, after knowing the technicalities, we have to arrange the right place for continuing our sadhana. Whenever you are arranging the right place, automatically the environmental suitability, support will be there. So you can get to progress in your practice. One in controlling the mind, that will help in taming the mind. Then the same, how to sit, that is Shamankayam Sirogrivam, Dharayan Nachalastiraha, Samprekshya Nasigagram Swam, Disascha Navalokayam, sitting in a erect posture, keeping our mind focused in subtle places where the object of concentration either inside or the outside. When it is inside, there are some places, Bhrumajya Drishti and Nasagra Drishti. So these specifications are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, specifically Dhyana Yoga. So here I am concluding my topic. Just it is a test session for the interaction. Please, sir. First, I thought some presentations of mind on various texts, more practical aspects. Actually, suppose I am asking a question. Suppose now we want to do two things. One is asana and pranayama and another one is meditation. Which is your choice? It is the base general aspect of the people. We have the two things. One is asana and pranayama practice. Another one is meditation. What is your choice? Just it is a question to the participants, which you will select, either asana or pranayama or meditation. Messages. Okay. My presentation is over, sir. This is the time for interaction. Please carry on.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Chat la question
Okay, I am sorry, I am not able to see the meditation, your messages. So maybe many are selecting meditation. Now I give a straight question to all of you. If you select the meditation, why Patanjali Maharshi designed in the Ashtanga Yoga, he kept the meditation in the 7th part. I know there are many meditation techniques like the Preksha meditation, Vipassana meditation, Anapanasati, Sahaja Marga, Ramachandra meditation. A straight question to all of you. Which are in big practice and number, meditation or yoga centers? Who are more in number, meditative practitioners or yoga practitioners? I don't want to differentiate these two, but what is the tendency spreading in the society means
1 minute, sir.
everyone is fashioned to the meditation, but not understanding the ground reality. Meditation is the 7th step of the practice of Ashtanga Yoga. When we see in the Bhagavad Gita also, meditation, Jnana Yoga is the 6th chapter which comes after Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, etc. So what I thought is, meditation is a little difficult. It needs a lot of practice. Without the ground practice, like Yamaniyama, like Asana, like Pranayama, we are not perfected in meditation. This is my opinion. So by simultaneously practicing other components of yoga, which are helping in controlling the mind or taming the mind, then our mind is prepared for dharana, then only to dhyana. Straight away, if you are sitting for meditation, lot of multiple thought process distractions will come. So I strongly believe the basic components of yoga, such as asana, pranayama, mudra bandha, and including yamaniyama, will help us to get to perfection in meditation.
True, sir. Thank you, sir.
Doubts will ask by the madam. We don't need to worry. Sir, I am not able to see the messages where they are moving one after one. Please, any one of us, maybe the madam will ask the doubts. Please.
Sir, now Susila madam will give you the questions, madam.
Sir,
Yes, madam. Please, madam.
which pranayama is good for hysteria problem? Hysteria problem. That is psychological disturbances, I think.
Very good, madam. So, generally, hysteria is more confining to the mind, right? So, pranayama itself is a little difficult in the beginning. So, let us introduce certain active pranayamas. Active pranayamas, like where the pranayama is controlling the mind out of this suffering of hysteria. That is, one is mild Bastrika, Brahmari, if is convenient, Ujjayi. Definitely, an amount of pranayama, when they are not able to do that, active pranayamas, that is
Please.
Bastrika, or maybe the sound impact, that is Brahmari, or maybe Ujjayi, that is sonorous sound from the throat. If they are comfortable, definitely they are enjoying the core effect of pranayama. This is my opinion.
Yes, sir. You proceed, sir.
Please, it's over, madam. Regarding that question, these are the 3 helping pranayamas. 1, single nostril Bastrika. But here is no need of retention. For the hysteria pulses, you don't do Kumbhaka, only the pranayama, single nostril Bastrika, Brahmari, and Ujjayi. In all these 3 pranayamas where the sound is involved, so that will help them to stable.
Okay, sir. Is cancer curable through the yoga practice?
I am assured. This is actually the statement of the Ramdev Baba, who quoted already. He challenged, he will cure cancer by his approach. But what I honestly thought is, I am not sure directly about the cancer, but any other pain manifestations by the cancer will heal or cure by the yoga. Not the direct to the pain of association symptoms. All the associated symptoms of the cancer will definitely helped by the various yogic approaches, whether it may be the pranayama, or maybe the dharana, or pratyahara, or om chanting. The various components of yoga will definitely reduce the other symptoms of cancer. Definitely, it sometimes depends on the what is called the stage, first stage, second stage, third stage. So based on the intensity of suffering, I am assured that the other sufferings associated to the cancer will definitely helped by various yogic practices.
Sir, again, question from E. Venkatesan. Mr. Venkatesan, kindly explain about the Andhakarnas, Manas, Buddhi, Chitti, Ahankara, and how it is controlled the mind into it.
Yes, this is the greatness of Sanskrit. We know mind means that is only one component, whereas in Sanskrit, chitta means it is the combination. The chitta is the consisting of the manasu, buddhi, ahankara, and this is the aspect of Patanjali, whereas Sankara Bhashyam, that is another component added, that is chittam, that is smriti. Definitely we are working, are active about all these four. Manas depends on our likes and dislikes. Mind and it plays its role. And ahankara, regarding the expression of the egoistic feelings, we strong convict to our likes and dislikes and expressions. Ahankara is predominant. Next, coming to the buddhi, our intelligence regarding the discrimination capacity. Whenever the situation arises, our buddhi intellect is having the capacity to judge whether it is good or bad. And another one is the smriti. All these things are preserved in our mind. These are the four combinations of the chittam. Everyone is experiencing this on and off. When the time comes, one is predominant in the other. So the chitta means the combinations of all four. This is the reason Patanjali is insisting yoga means chitta vritti nirodha. It doesn't mean the mano vritti nirodha, ahankara vritti nirodha. No, all these four considered as chittam. In yoga, you have to eliminate all the functions of this chitta. Right, madam?
Yes, sir. Which pranayama is the best for asthma problem?
Asthma, very good, madam. Just ujjayi, just I am telling practically, therapeutically, one is ujjayi, because sometimes when their bronchial constrictions are, they are not able to do inhalation with the right nostril in Surya Vedana. So let them facilitate first with the ujjayi, both nostrils. After getting some relief, let us practice Surya Vedana Pranayama, where we are giving more oxidation to the lungs. After getting some relief and perfection, let them practice Vastrika, that is the ultimate, where it is giving more and more oxidation, even it is eliminating the problem completely. So the sequence of the pranayama, first one is the Ujjayi. Practically it works not by the theory. And the second one is Surya Vedana, next one is Vastrika, but no retention, up to 70% of recovery from asthma patients. But apart from the pranayama, Jalaneti will give wonderful results in the enhancing the effect of pranayama. Right, madam?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
As you are an expert, question from Yamini Malhotra.
Yes, ma'am.
She wanted to know if there is any size of the soul. If yes, what is that? In which dimension soul rests?
No, once again, please repeat. You are asking about the size of the soul?
Yes, sir. Dimension. Is there any dimension for soul?
There is one sloka in Bhagavad Gita regarding Sankhya Yoga addressing the Atma. Nainam chintanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha. So there they are explaining there is no any limitations to soul or Atma, which never, one is it is invisible, another thing it is never addressed by anything. Whether the sharpened things never cut, fire never burn, water never wet, just like that, infinite. Atma is infinite, but there are some Upanishads where they are insisting Angushta Matram. Angushta Matram.
Okay, sir.
A bit of the thumb which is placed in the Hridaya Sthanam. There are some Upanishad references. Kathopanishad, Amruta Bindopanishad, when they are explaining the Omkaram, etc. At that time, they are giving some specifications where Atma is Angushta Matram and it is blazing like a flame in the place of the heart. But whereas in the philosophical Sankhya perception, it is invisible and infinite. We cannot measure. Right, madam?
Yes, sir. Which pranayama is suited for controlling of hyperactivity?
Hyperactivity. Pacifying the mind from the hyperactivity. There is one pranayama called Chandra Vedana because Mano Chandra Karakaha. Mano Chandra Karakaha. mind is very closely connected to the moon. So Chandra Vedana Pranayama will help to controlling the agitation of the mind, hyperactivity behavior. In addition to this, Shitali Pranayama also will help in calm down the mind from all possible agitations, that is hypertension, anxiety, etc. Hyperactive behavior will become come down by. One is Chandra Vedana, the first one. Next one is Shitali Pranayama. If it is convenient, Ujjayi, another pranayama technique. But for these hyperactive patients or persons, not supposed to do retention, no antar kumbhakam. Passively they are doing only with inhalation and exhalation, Puraka and Rechka. Right, sir?
Okay, sir. Please put your email to the chat box, sir.
Okay, madam.
Dear participants, please put any queries, any clarification, doubts regarding this today's presentation or any other guidance regarding the subject. You please contact Professor Dr. Lakshmi Narayana, sir. He will put his email ID. He will definitely clarify your doubts later. So we have another session. For that reason, I have to close this session. And now I request Dr. Praveena Madam to give a feedback and propose vote of thanks, please.
Good evening to all of you. The comments received in the chat box shows it was a wonderful presentation, excellent session, very good presentation, very informative. So that shows the participants have well received the Lakshmi Narayan session. So on behalf of IQAC, I deem it a pleasure to thank Lakshmi Narayan sir for the quality presentation by quoting Bhagavad Gita sloka and its effect on the mind and how to control the mind. Man is the maker of his own destiny, and he highlighted that patience and repeated practice help in controlling the mind. Thank you, sir, for sparing your valuable time. On behalf of IQAC, a warm thanks to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you, sir. Thank you for your wonderful presentation and accept our invitation. On behalf of the again IQAC and Center for Yoga Studies, I thank you, sir. Lakshmi Narayana, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You can leave, sir. You can leave the session, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. So, Dr. Suresh, sir. Suresh Kumar, sir.
Yes,
Okay, sir.
I'm here, ma'am.
Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening to everyone. Today is the 5th day of 1 week short-term course on yoga, the tool for harmonizing self and the world. Now I introduce today's speaker, the second session, Dr. M. Suresh Kumar, sir. He is the head PG Department of Psychology, the American College, Madurai. Adjunct faculty, School of Behavioral Sciences, Texila American University. He is a passionate professor and researcher in striving for excellence in behavioral sciences and education. He got a PhD from Annamalai University in the year 2010. So proud to part of our program, sir. Thank you, sir. Being Annamalai University. Yes, sir. And Dr. Praveena Madam also told about you and other faculty also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He has completed MSc Counseling and Psychotherapy, TNOU, in the year 2012, and PGD Counseling and Guidance and Counseling from Annamalai University 2006, MSc Applied Psychology 2005 from Annamalai University, and MD Madurai Kamaraj University in the year 2003, and BSc from Madura College, Madurai Kamaraj University 2001. So his publications are more than 30 papers in journals, 3 books, and 50 seminar conferences proceedings. And he is a membership and professional associations, APA, ICCPP, TNCCA, IAMHW, TNCPA, IPOS, in SPA, CEAM, TNPA, and IPA, WCOP. And he has skills in psychometry, statistical analysis, research, documentation, counseling, and psychotherapy, e-content development, training coordination, etc. So he had experience as a head deputy Department of Psychology, the American College, Madurai, from 2018 till date. Then he is a 2018 Assistant Professor, Department of Applied Psychology, Central University of Tamil Nadu. And in 2013 and 2018, he is the Assistant Professor, Department of Applied Psychology, Rajiv Gandhi National Institute of Youth Development, Sri Perumbudur. 2011 and 12, he is the Principal, Sri Balaji College Education, Tamil Nadu. 2008 to 2011, he is the Assistant Professor in Psychology, Saint Xavier College of Education. And he has a UGC NET in Education and a TNSET Education member, UGC NET in Psychology examination member, and CTET Central Teacher Eligibility Test. And he has organized 600 and above, acted as a speaker and resource person is more than 250 programs. And he had received awards, Best Teacher Award, Lions Club International in the year 2021. Academic Excellence Award for Mental Health 2021. Dr. Abdul Kalam Award for Mental Health Promotion 2020. Sigmoid Fraud Award for Psychology 2020. And Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan Best Teacher Award in the year 2019. So he's such a versatile personality. We have this session, and he's going to talk about neuroscience of mindfulness. Then I welcome you, sir, on behalf of the IQAC-ANNAMALAI University and Center for Yoga Studies. I welcome you, and over to you, sir. Over the session to you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I think it is a great. Yes, ma'am. Would you like to say? Yes. Yes,
1 minute, sir. Suresh, sir.
yes, ma'am.
Very happy to see you on the screen.
Thank
As a
you.
resource person.
Yes. Thank you.
You were with us as a scholar, and now
Yes.
I'm seeing you as a resource person. Very proud of you.
Thank
Many
you.
more to come through your way. God bless you, Thambi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Can I proceed, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You please, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. And a very good evening to all. I'm really happy to be here for my alma mater, Annamalai University. And it is a great honor and privilege for me to share my bit of learning and experiences on that, the neuroscience of mindfulness. I think you may have a different resource persons who were there in the field of yoga and yoga practices. So I'm the one, you can find out that there is an odd one out in that group of presentation. I think before getting into my presentation, I would like to record my sincere gratitude to Pandiyamani sir, the Director of Value Education of Brahma Kumaris, for referring me for this wonderful program. And also I'd like to thank the former professor of Department of Psychology, Dr. Suresh sir, and the Vice Chancellor of Annamalai University, the Director of IQAC and Deputy Directors, and head of the departments of Yoga Sciences and Faculty of Education, and all the coordinators. And I would like to thank Susila ma'am, and she's the one who is updating all the information, what are the things we have to do. And I'm really thankful for you, ma'am, for all the efforts and the invitation, the hospitality which is provided by you. And also Jayaprakash sir for updating me, what are the things we have to do. Thank you so much, sir. And I would like to thank the other speakers, experts members over here, and all the participants. With that gratitude, I would like to get into my presentation. I think today I feel more happy. The reason, very simple. When we come back to our home, so when we get an appreciation from our home members, we feel more happy. So I'm having that whole happy today, and I hope the happiness will be there sustained for another an hour. And these inputs definitely will help for you. And before going into that, there is an ethical component is there for my presentation. We all know that there is one person called Edgar Dates. So all our learnings happening through different sense organs. Okay. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. But when you ask me which organ plays a very important role for learning, I can say eyes, 87%. To attract that learners here, so I included many images. I given the due acknowledgement and recognition for all the images I downloaded from the Google. And if you come to know that some of the images I'm not recognized properly in my presentation at the end of my presentation, kindly bring it to my notice. I'm open to accept your inputs. I definitely include those recognition in future presentations. With that note, I'll get into my presentation. There's a basic questions. I love to speak or present any kind of topic. There are many ways we can do. So one is about, we will talk about that, what the previous one, what will be the next. And another one is the systematic way to present a content. I learned how we can be more effective in our presentation when we going for community radio presentations. I was invited for talking about community radio. They trained me for a week. So how we have to present. So the first question, we have to give the answer for that, what, why, and how. So I'm going to give answer for you. What is neuroscience? What is mindfulness? Why we have to practice neuroscience? And how we have to practice. These are the components I'm going to make in my presentation. And when you look at my title itself, you can find out there are two terms. The first one is neuroscience. So what is neuroscience? Neuroscience is a branch of science which studies about our brain and nervous system. So it's very simple. Any subject that studies about your brain and nervous system and the connection between neuron. So that is called neuroscience. And when we look at that, in again further, when you get into detail, so what are the more components that will be studied in neuroscience? They will study about the impact of brain on our behavior. The brain on our behavior. For example, look at me that the voice modulations and my hand movements here and there. And you can feel about my emotions. As I said, I'm very happy because I'm being here as a resource person for my home alma mater. And you can see it is very difficult to think what I'm having in my cognitions. But when you look at that, how the brain affect my behavior, how the brain affect my emotions, how the brain affect my cognitions, in detail, if you study, that comes under neuroscience. So now you know, there are many of us, even the previous session, Dr. Lakshmi Narayanan sir given amazing inputs. So when we practice yoga, there are a lot of benefits are there, and calming your mind and giving healthy body for a person. And for that, we given a lot of inputs regarding that. When you look at that, that comes under behavior and emotion and cognitions. So when we come to know that why some people are happy and why some people are thinking positively and why some people are thinking negatively, if you study in detail, that is called neuroscience. Why neuroscience? So when we say something, what is the evidence? These are the questions we may expect from many of our friends. Am I right? If I say something, so they will ask you, what is the evidence? I'm saying that, look at me, I'm having the pen. I think many of your researchers are here. I'm saying that this pen I received from Mahatma Gandhi when I met him. How many of you will believe this statement? So this is a statement I'm making here. I'm having the pen in my hand. So I'm saying that this pen I received from Mahatma Gandhi in person. How many of you believe? Anyone? I can see the answers. I think no one will believe. Why? Why you are not believing? See, I'm saying that this is the way we are saying that many statements, when you want to have that thing, there are two ways we can able to find the answer. One is logically. So 1948, Mahatma Gandhi is no more. So I was born late 1980s. See the difference. There is a gap is there. The statement is wrong. And when we believe, when we give on evidences, when someone saying that practice yoga will give many benefits. So when we give that evidences we can get it through neuroscience. When you say that the breathing will give a lot of benefit out of it. I'm going to tell you some of the case studies. After the case study, you believe that yes, it has an impact. So the evidences to provide that existing practices, we have to study neuroscience. And we'll move on to the next one. What is mindfulness? So I think you may know about it, mindfulness. So these are the words you may hear about. What is the mindfulness? When we look at the mindfulness itself, there are two terms are there. There are two components we can say. One is about our attention to the present. For example, you are here for this faculty development program or short-term training program. And if you are attentive to this training program, that is one of the important component of mindfulness. And if you are not attentive, and that is not a mindfulness. I hope you understand. And second one, look at that, it is not only one component. When you look at any coin, it has two different sides. Am I right? Side one and side two. So when you look at the coin, you can able to see only one side of the coin. So many people believe that mindfulness is being present in that moment. No, there is another side is there. What is that another side? You must have that attitude. It must be open. You must receive all the sensory inputs. And you have to decide which one you have to retain. Second one is, you must be non-reactive. There are many people around us. They will make you impulsive. They make you angry. They may tease you. And if you are not responding those things, like there are many people, I can quote one of the story of Buddha also, non-reactive. And third one is accepting the things as it is. A person may be a liar, a person may be a murderer, a person may be good. You accept as it is. So what is mindfulness? I hope you will be clear right now that it has two components. One is about being present here. Second one is you must have an attitude, open mind. Accept whatever it may be. Even the answer, if you know, okay, listen from the person what his inputs on that particular topic. And second one is non-reactive, and third one is accept as it is. I'll let you know. For non-reactive, when Buddha was preaching his values to the people, so there are many disciples that the followers were also associated with him when they are moving one village to another village. In a particular village, a person who was very angry about Buddha's value system, and he was coming and scolding in front of him and spitting on his face. And followers were very angry and they want to react to that particular situation. Buddha said, no. Buddha stopped all the disciples, don't harm the person. So when they come back to the base, that means when they come back to the home base, and the disciples, the followers ask them, why you are not reacted? That person is making idiotic comments and he is doing all the nonsenses, but you are not reacting. Why? And he told me that if I give you 2 rupees or 10 rupees to you, for example, I'm giving the 10 rupees to you. If you receive the money, it is yours. Am I right? If I give the 10 rupees to you, if you receive the money, it is yours. The man who scolded me, I'm not receiving anything, I'm given to him. Imagine that if I'm not receiving the money will be with whom? The person who tried to give the money, am I right? So that is the way he reacted. So mindfulness is something non-reactive. Don't put anything unnecessary component in your mind. I think many of the people who know about me had a lot of traumatic experiences in my life, in academic as well as in my personal life, and how I come out from that. And I can say that the best practice is on mindfulness. And I have done one international program on that mindfulness, which helped me to make a lot of changes in my behavior, a lot of change in my emotional experiences, and a lot of change in my thinking process, where I have to focus. Good and bad things are in front of us, and we have to decide where I want to look it. Okay. So with that, I can preliminary note, I hope you know that what is neuroscience, what is mindfulness. It is a basic thing. Even if you know the answer, you can add that inputs I given here. And I would like to add one case study. It's a lovely case study. So you will know about why we have to practice mindfulness. Okay. You look at this image. I hope you all, the image is visible. There was an incident in the year 2018. It is a global level disaster issue, I can say that. When the soccer, the football players with the coach, it's not a single person. In Thailand, there are 15 children, the 15 boys, along with the coach, they were do the exercise of trekking. When they were doing the trekking, there is no rain at all. So they were walking inside the cave. This is the entrance. They're walking this way and they reached here. Once after reaching the place, the heavy rain started. So when heavy rain started, they cannot be able to come back to the entrance. So they were trapped inside the cave. And it is not a single day. And there is no food inside. And their intention for going that cave walk is only for an half a day. For 3 to 4 hours, they decided, okay, we'll go for walking and we'll come back. That is the idea they had. They were trapped inside the cave. Okay. And look at the second one. We all know that it is not a simple task. How many kilometers from that entrance? It is on 4 kilometers from the entrance, they were trapped. And they want to drill from the top. It is not a plain region. You look at here, this is not a plain region. It is easy, we can drill and then we can able to recover them. But it is on hill region and we cannot be able to drill from the top. And if they do so, and they may not aware about where they are. Suppose if we know that where they are, we can able to drill. So these are the lot of difficulties they had in front of the team, which is trying to rescue the team of members. And it is a very global attraction during that time. I think you may come to know about when you watch international news, and this is a very predominant news in almost all the channels. And when the information spread all over the world, all the countries, they come forwarded and they said that, okay, we will send our team members, disaster management, we want team members. They were arrived there and they try to recover them. And the only team, there are many teams, they try to rescue that the Thai children who were trapped. It's not a single day. Think about it, and 15 days they were trapped. On the 15th day, one of the team from the British UK team, they found that where the children are. And when the British team, when they are entering in that cave, they found that they are doing meditation along with the coach. They were in the dark. See, they are not having any light. When they were walking, they never thought that the rain will come and they will be trapped inside. They are not having any light facilities or any basic amenities at all. It is utterly dark. When the team members looking at them, they were doing the meditation and they are very calm and alive. No one is dead. Everyone is alive. And the interview done by the CNBC, it is on very international news, they come to know that how they were alive for 15 days without any basic needs, the food, water, and other things. And you know that when we are angry, when we are stressed, and when we fear about something, we may be die immediately. Our heartbeat will be rise. We may heart attack may happen. How they were sustained in the 15 days, and they found that the coach of that soccer team, and he was there as a Buddhist monk for a decade, nearly 10 years. He was a Buddhist monk, where he practiced mindfulness, all the mindfulness practices, mindfulness breathing, mindfulness meditation. So he aware about it and he taught those skills to the children when they were, see, look at the benefit, one case study. So this is a classical case study I can quote, and that suppose the soccer coach is not aware about this mindfulness meditation, and no one will be alive right now. No one will be alive, not only the coach, even the 15 children will not be alive. So you know about that, a single practice of mindfulness will help us to save many lives. Not only others, it will save your life and you will be live longer. So with that case, I will move on to that second one. And we must know about, when we say about what is mindfulness, we must know what is not mindfulness. So there are many people who say that this is the mindfulness. So I will let you know my experiences with you all when I visited Tirunelveli. Tirunelveli is famous for, can anyone tell me? Tirunelveli is famous for? There are many things, am I right? Halwa, lovely. So Tirunelveli is famous for halwa, and especially in halwa, it is an Sandhi sweets is famous. Okay. So when I was getting down in the bus stand, I received a call from my wife. So you have to get a halwa from the Sandhi sweets. I can see all the shops with the name of Sandhi sweets. It's not a single shop with the name of Sandhi sweets. And Ittukadi is a very famous traditional one, but they told me that Sandhi sweets are very famous. When I was searching for Sandhi sweets, nearly 10 to 20 shops are there, and all the shops were written as Sandhi sweets, Sandhi sweets. I don't know where to get. So this is a confusion. And the many people, they say that what they are practicing is mindfulness. So we have to aware about what is not mindfulness. I'm going to let you know. And these are the things are not mindfulness. When you do any relaxation exercises, that is not a mindfulness. That's merely an exercise. And second one is a person who try to avoid the difficulty. So the outcome of mindfulness may be help you to avoid the difficulty, but merely avoiding the difficulty is not a mindfulness. And third one is there are many personality problems with there. Many personality problems are there. Some people are highly impulsive, quickly reactive, and they may not be happy at all in most of the time. And if you are such a person, it will not help to bypass your personality problems. Some people will say that, okay, can I practice mindfulness? Will my personality will change? No, you will be you. So you have to understand that it's not a mindfulness. And final one important is, see, many people think that when I practice mindfulness, there will be a change in my mind. See, not achieving a different state of mind is a mindfulness. Being with your mind and how you make that mind calm and cool and being attentive to the current situation, we can say that is a mindfulness. I hope you may got a small input regarding what is not a mindfulness, and I will move on to the next one. So what is about mindfulness? Further, I will add on that. So again, even it may be in detail and it will be useful for you. What is about mindfulness? Look at here. Being present our experiences. There are a lot of distractions will be there. It may be upsetting. I will let you know. So the people who are going to write a final examination, semester examination, a final examination. I'll give one example. You can relate with your own life stories. So they may thought that they can study, that they can start study for a week before that examination. Actually, what they will decide, I want to study a week before the examination. But actually, there are a lot of engagement will be there. There are family commitment will be there. They may postpone, and the procrastination will lead them. They can go for study in the last moment, a day before the examination. When our parents ask us to read in a normal day, we will not concentrate. And even if we concentrate, it's very difficult to keep those information what we read in our mind. At the same time, you think about it a day before the examination, you are sitting in front of the book and you will know that whatever the external distractions are coming, you will cut out. So you will focus on that what you want. So that is a being present with our experience. Even the distractions will be there. And you all know that in the month of examination time of April and May, almost all the temple festival will start. The speakers will be, loudspeakers will be there, and you may thought you can study in the evening peacefully, and they will start with a lot of songs, devotional songs, and you may not be able to concentrate. Even those situations we can be able to concentrate. That is the first one. Second one is, we know about that difficulty is on accepting as it is. We close to that, okay, we will understand the reality. But the difficulty which will not affect much when we do practice, when we practice mindfulness, we will not react. I'll give one example. Name calling or bullying or teasing. I still remember when I was school going days, my friends used to call me by a particular name. When I hear, I get highly angry towards them. How can you say with that name? I'm having another name. How can you say, man? But now if they say that, I will not react. And especially, I hope there are many people who are married here, and you know your partner, when they are saying it, you will be highly mindful. The words of your partner will not affect. And there is a best example I can able to correlate. And if you connect, and you can understand that. But now the name calling will not affect you. Okay, the third one is, mindfulness is not about rushing the things. Slow, do it slow. Enjoy that moment. And then whatever you do it mindfully. If you are walking, do it mindfully. Mindfulness walking, mindfulness listening. So these are the things we can do it by enjoy whatever you do. And finally, you must be relaxed and conscious, alert, and open-hearted to accept whatever the inputs you are receiving. And you can make a judgment that, okay, whatever the input you receive, you may have a decision. You can make your own decision. I want to take this information. No, I don't want to take this information. So now I hope you may clear about what is mindfulness is about. And if you practice these things and you will attain that, there are many strategies there, I will let you know. And as I said, the beginning itself, when we say that yoga will lead you to the pathway of mindfulness, they will ask you, give me the evidence. I given that one case study. And some people will say that, okay, yoga is an old one. I want to learn new one. Am I right? So old wine in a new bottle. So there are many practices of yoga, they renamed into different and which are highly sellable in different countries. I'll let you know some of the branches for you. One is about mindfulness-based stress reduction techniques. Very popular, and it is an outcome of Massachusetts Medical Center. They are the one who developed this one. They developed. It's a 2 years program, the master degree program, mindfulness-based stress reduction. Almost all the corporate companies are recruiting the people who are practicing mindfulness-based stress reduction. Because everyone, including me, those are attending here, you are stressed. To come out from the stress, there are many strategies. Some of them will be successful or effective when you are practicing that mindfulness reduction strategies, and many of them are not effective at all. So these scientific based, what they have done, as I said, old wine in a new bottle. The mindfulness practices are there in Zen Buddhism and yoga practices. They took it in a scientific way. They have conducted research in a systematic way, and they given two methodologies. One is about mindfulness-based stress. Second one is mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. This is another interesting thing. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is a program developed by a group of researchers, not a single person. And Siegel, Williams and T. Stay. And these three were developed. What is behavior cognitive therapy? I will let you know. Health-related problem can be classified into two. One is physical health, another one is mental health. And we can able to see if there is any physical health problems are there. We can able to sense and we can able to tell that I'm having these physical health problems. But when it comes to that mind, I can say that there are many learned professionals are here, nearly 344 members are here. Many of us, including me, we are not aware about it. What is the name for the mental health problem we are having? Okay. And for all the mental health related problems, there are many therapies are there. Many, not a single therapy. When you take it, psychoanalytic therapies, psychodynamic therapies, humanistic therapy, existential therapy, logotherapy, you can name it, behavior therapy, cognitive therapy. There are many therapies are there. And which one is very popular? And the therapists, they are prescribing as per my knowledge. Underline. I'm not saying that it is untrue. As per my knowledge, 80% of therapists are using cognitive behavior therapy. And look at that. They are integrating that cognitive therapy along with mindfulness. And it is highly successful. And when you want to be contemporary or when you want to settle down in corporate companies as a trainer or a coach or wellness practitioner, and you can do these programs. Many of the universities are offering online as well as offline, and some of the universities are offering blended method. You can take the course and you will become a practitioner for these. Okay, now I'm getting into the main core of my presentation. I'm having so one more hour is there. So before getting into that, I would like to ask a few questions to the participants here. So when it comes to brain, how many lobes are there? Brain, when we studied brain in our school days in the science book, 4 lobes. Lovely, man. Kadambari Mulam. Thank you so much. 4, 8. I can get many answers. 4. Lovely. So can someone tell me what are the names of that 4 lobes? Can anyone? I hope you can able to unmute. You can unmute yourself and give the answer. Frontal lobe, lovely. Occipital, cerebrum and cerebellum are 2 different parts. I'm asking that. Okay, temporal, parietal, occipital, frontal lobe. There is one more frontal lobe. Thank you so much. Thank you for the input. Okay, now I will let you know. So, okay, thank you. Left and right, okay, different parts. I think you are more updated than me in neuroscience. So it is very easy for me to convey the messages regarding what kind of impact the mindfulness practices that we make in our brain. So one is about the brain parts. Can you name any at least 3 parts of brain other than lobes, like hippocampus? Hippocampus is the part responsible for long-term memory. Can you name any 3? Okay, limbic system, lovely. Thalamus, hypothalamus, okay, bones, medulla, thalamus, lovely. Yes, bones, pituitary, okay, medulla oblongata, bones. Yes, thank you, Punesh. Pineal, okay, pineal gland, amygdala, lovely. Cortex, reticular formation, lovely, okay. See, when you look at that, these are the different important parts in our. Thank you, Dr. Vijay Panam. And now the next question is about how I think we all know about that. The brain is made up of neurons. Okay, neurons are the building blocks of brain. How, for example, I'm here in my native. I'm communicating with you through the language. My question is, how the neurons are there in our brain will communicate to the next neuron? How it will communicate with another neuron? Can anyone? Snaps, lovely. Okay. What it will happen in that snap? What it will happen? By proton action, okay. So the physics, chemistry, whatever we studied in our school days are coming now. Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter. Am I right? Lovely. So one is about Yeah. So that neuron communicating with another neuron through lovely. There is an exchange of electrons. I will tell you there are two ways it will communicate. One is electromagnetic waves. Brain neurons, one neuron communicate with another neuron. Electromagnetic wave is on one way, and another way is electrochemical. Chemical wave, that name which you given here is on neurotransmitters, otherwise called hormones. Neurotransmitters, otherwise called hormones. So one neuron that communicate with another neuron in two ways. One is about electromagnetic waves, that we can say that brain waves. Lovely, lovely. So what are the brain waves are there? Can you tell me? What are the names of brain waves? So we are not getting into it. We are just making to aware about the different inputs you are having. Alpha, beta, delta, theta, lovely, lovely, amazing. You know about these different kind of brain waves. And each wave, gamma, amazing, amazing. So these are the waves are there. Now my next question is, as I said, neurotransmitters. Neurotransmitters are the chemicals which help the one neuron communicate with another neuron. Can you name any neurons which you may aware about? Neurotransmitter which you may aware about? The neurotransmitter thing. This is the final question. GABA, okay. Dopamine, amazing. I don't know. Okay, it's okay. No issues. I'll let you know. What are the brain neurotransmitters you may aware about it? Serotonin, lovely, lovely. The happy hormone, amazing. Oxytocin, the hormone of human being when we are close with a loved one. Acetylcholine, the first identified neurotransmitter. Oxytocin, GABA, okay, lovely. Endorphin, amazing. See, so in that case, it is very easy again for me. You all know about the different neurotransmitter named glutamate, melatonin, amazing in detail. You know that. So melanin is on pigment. Melatonin is a neurotransmitter. Thank you, thank you. So thank you all. I think the basic information we given that, which means you made me. You are going to make my presentation very easy. I will let you know there are more than 40 neurotransmitters are there, but we are not going to focus on all the neurotransmitters, and we are not going to deal with all the parts of our brain, and we are not focused about that. Thank you. We are not focusing on that more specific parts in our brain. So we are focusing on that. When we practice mindfulness, what are the area will be activated? What are the area will be deactivated? So this is the thing we are going to study. Okay, we want to know now. When I toss a coin, I may get head or tail. So when I practice mindfulness, what I will get? For that answer, we can see in the coming slide. Okay. I think one of the participants given that amygdala. Amygdala, before explaining this amygdala, I would like to ask you questions. I think we are having our childhood memories, am I right? So these memories, when you group into, most of the memories are pleasant or which is connected to our emotions. It may be positive emotion or it may be negative emotion. You can think any experiences, you can able to recollect your childhood. And those information, if they are connected to your emotions, that will be there in long term. And the emotional memory, the emotional depositor of the brain, we can say it is an amygdala. See, why, when the emotional imbalance are there in a person, if they are not matured enough, a lot of disturbance will be there in emotion. We may overreact immediately. There are many people we may encounter or we may found someone who are living along with us. They don't know how to manage their emotion, and they will make us to feel uncomfortable because of their emotional imbalance. We'll move on to that. So amygdala is what they studied. There are many researchers I can quote. These studies are very amazing study. Davidson et al. They studied about that. The people who are practicing mindfulness and what kind of impact that will make in our brain. And interestingly, what they found that there is a part called, it is a amla-like structure. Okay. So amygdala, that is a region in our brain which is associated for our emotional process. All the emotional, good, bad, and everything will be there, positive, negative. And that reason will be activated. That impacts amygdala. And what kind of impact it will make? It will make that amygdala less reactive. It's not making that amygdala you have to be active. No. For example, I still remember when my mom is cooking food for us when I was a childhood. Now we are having stove, electric cooker and gas stove we are having. But my mom used to have with the sticks and other things, small sticks they will place. She will inform me, okay, once after a particular time, she will ask me to reduce that fire, reduce the heat. So what they will do, we'll do it now. So when we are less reactive to that unwanted stimulus, there are many people in our place, they will make us to react. So when you want to, don't react like Gautama Buddha. He was not reactive. It is because he less activated his amygdala by practicing mindfulness meditation, and he decreased the activity of amygdala. And I will let you know, when you want to be active, when you want to be less reactive to any kind of emotion, it may be positive or negative, you want to show your appropriate emotions, what you can do, you can deactivate your amygdala. That's the first thing. And how you can do that? By practicing mindfulness. Okay, this is the first part in our brain associated. We'll move on to the next one. Now look at here, there is a structure called a seahorse. There is a part in our brain. Some of you mentioned when I'm asking what are the different parts of brains are there. Different parts are there in our brain. Hippocampus. We study for our examination. We learn something and it will be stored in a particular place. For example, I'm having the money. I used to store in my pocket. So money means I will put my hand into the pocket. I will not search somewhere else. So I know that money is there. So when you learn something, it will be stored in a place in our brain is called hippocampus. This is a place where all the memories will be saved. And what they studied that when we want to regulate that amygdala, actually amygdala will be there at the end of this hippocampus. It will be there. And what when you want to regulate, it's not a control. We want to regulate now. Okay, you have to be active now. You have to be less active. You have to be normal. And these communication command, they will receive it from that amygdala, hippocampus. That is our long-term memory. I will let you know. I think the students are those who are in the relationship, love and relationship, or husband and wife. The first time when your partner, life partner, your wife or husband is asking something about your first love. So if you say that, what kind of reaction it will come? And second time when they ask the same question, will you respond to that question? We will not do so. We will distract ourselves. We will not give the answer for that. That is called, that's why our previous memory, which is stored in our long-term memory in the hippocampus, will help us to make a decision or regulate our amygdala. Okay, last time you given this answer and this was the response you received. Now you have to be very careful in giving the answer. Clear? And what they found that when you do practice mindfulness and your long-term memory will be more active. When you want to study for examination and you want to keep it for longer period of time in your life, I think, for example, I'm a teacher. I have to keep most of the things in my mind. If I forgot, and it is very difficult for me to manage the children, manage my learners, manage my students. So when we want to keep that learning for long-term memory, and definitely we have to activate, we have to practice mindfulness. The second part, and we will move on to that. I would like to ask a question again for the members. It's very interesting. Can anyone tell me? I think in the right side picture you can see the blue color and green color. So what is the name of that? What is the name of the part in our brain? Prefrontal cortex. Yeah, lovely. Prefrontal cortex. Frontal cortex or prefrontal cortex. Will it be available for our primates like monkey, chimpanzee, other animals? This part will be there in primates? Yes. Will it be equivalent to human being? Thank you, Kadambari. Not, it's smaller. Why it is smaller? Okay, in animals, a lovely answer. Why it is smaller in animals? In human, we can able to find out there are larger prefrontal cortex and compared to any other animals. Why? It is because that is the reason, that is the area we will make a plan, we can make a decision, we can able to solve, or we can work on that process. Lovely. We can organize more our thinking, most of the component in prefrontal cortex. There are some of the exercises they will say that when you want to stimulate. Yes, you have advantage of, yes, executive functions that will happen in prefrontal cortex. And what they found that when there are studies who try to examine that, so what are the areas that need to get mature? Okay, when the prefrontal cortex is fully developed, not growth, fully developed, and we can say that it has a capacity of impulse control and maturity. See, look at that person. This person is becoming highly mature. You may hear Amari. It is because the actions, the process in prefrontal cortex is highly effective. And it can be activated. It will be more active when you do mindfulness training. See the study, not only single, there are many people who have done that. And one of the study I'm going to say here, Sarati. They found that when you practice mindfulness, your prefrontal cortex is there and that will be activated. When it is activated and you have the control of impulse, and you will be behaving in a matured way. That is why when you look at that, I think many of you here as a participant, you may come across through different education levels, school and college level. When you look back your school days, look back your undergraduate, most of the behavior you have done are now when you look at that, you feel very funny. So without any maturity, we behaved in such a way. We may say it, am I right? Even I when I look back my college days and school days, not PG, I'm saying about your UG and school days. We have done many illogical things. Why? It is because not fully development of prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex will be developed only at the age of 21, and some of the studies are saying the 24. We can find full growth of prefrontal cortex at the age of 21 to 24. So that's why I think today is on Valentine's Day. I would like to connect with you. And if you choose a partner, not based on your prefrontal cortex, if your age is less than 21 or 24, and if your age is more than 21 or 24, and whatever the decision you made based on your prefrontal cortex. That means you know about that maturity. And if you made a decision before 21 years, it is because of impulse, the adrenal changes, the hormonal changes which happen you, that motivate you to make a decision. I'm sorry for that. Sorry, I just sorry for the interruption. Now you know about it. This Valentine's Day. So when you made a decision based on if you are more than 21 years, generally you are matured and you can make your life partner. You can choose your life partner. If it is less than 21, and it is purely based on that stimulus you had from other members, and it may be an hormonal, whatever it may be. So how you can activate your prefrontal cortex? When you practice mindfulness training, and this area will be more active. When it is more active, and you will behave like a mature person, and there won't be any distractions will be there in your life. And there is another connection between brain and mindfulness. As we all know about that, I'll let you know, I think in Tamil, so this is about the use. When the person not reactive to the words of the parents, which means a person getting scolded from the parents. In many perspectives from parents, we have to do these kind of things, and they may not less reactive. And thickness of the, they will say the thick skin or thin skin. And that will happen in our brain also, the cortical area. The cortic regions, if you look at the pictures, these are the images, you can see, it will be thicker. When if it is thicker, what is the benefit we will get out of it? And our attention will be increased. Our attention will be highly increased. We will be more attentive. And we can process the sensory inputs, whatever we are receiving. There are a lot of sensations are there. As I said in the beginning itself, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and then skin. The researchers, and which was published in that Neuro report in the year 2005, not now, 15 years back, nearly 17 years back, what they found that a person who is practicing mindfulness, a brain area, the cortical regions, and that will be thicker in size. That means more accumulated neuron in that area. When the more neurons are there, and you will have healthy decision making, and you will be more attentive, and you can process all the sensory inputs. I'll let you know. So this is the area in the backside, occipital lobe. All the visual inputs we will receive. Backside here. Okay, and in this area, parietal, the auditory and writing, reading will be processed here. And then some of the music discrimination and the spatial things, we can do it in temporal lobe. And prefrontal cortex, all the working memory. All the working memory will happen in prefrontal cortex. And the studies were proven that a person continuously practicing or consistently practicing mindfulness, their cortical regions in our brain will be thicker. And one more thing, and these cortical regions will be thinner when we get old ages. When your age grows, your age, if it is on 30, 40, and 50, you can find out that for 20 years or 30 years, the cortical region will be thicker. And the 50 years, it will be thinner. And if you want to make thicker, even at the age of 50, I will suggest you, the studies were conducted by Lazar et al. In the year 2005. We have to practice mindfulness. Your cortical region will be thicker. Okay. And we'll move on to the next one. And we all know that in the brain, white matter and gray matter. You all know that white matter and gray matter. It is by aging we can able to find out. When the age increases, they found that gray matter will be decrease. Understand? I'm repeating the word. When our age increases, the gray matter in our brain will be decreased. Sarah Lazarus is a woman researcher. What she has done, she's a neuroscientist from Harvard Medical School. Not only her and her team, they explored. They discovered that practicing mindfulness meditation at the age of 40 and 50, if you practice mindfulness at your age of 40 and 50 continuously, what they found that the gray matter which is available for 20 years and 30 years found in that 40 and 50 years. I can say that age reversing, when you want to look very younger, you have to practice mindfulness meditation. Very simple. So many people, they want to say that I want to be younger, I want to be very youthful. If you want, I can say, do mindfulness. So look at here, 50 years old, the gray matter are equivalent to the 20 years and 30 years when they practice mindfulness. Yeah. Lovely study inputs we can connect. And I will move on to the next one. So this is a very another detailed one in another case study. Again, on the same Lazarus and team. So what they done that, as I said, we all know about different lobes are there in our brain. Okay, each lobes are connected with one another. Just imagine that these are lobes and these are connections. The connection. So one of the connection here you can see that's called temporal junction. Temporal junction that they can call it. For example, Chidambaram railway junction. Madurai railway junction. Likewise, there is a place, there are two things will be connected. And these is the brain area. No? The people who are practicing mindfulness for 30 to 40 minutes, just to practicing mindfulness for 30 to 40 minutes every day when you practice, The Lazarus and team, they found out that it has a lot of positive effect on the persons. Who are practicing, they found out that their psychological well-being is improved, and the people are free from many problems. Many problems. I can say one of the things is the pain, insomnia, depression, anxiety. There are many things they come out. This is a study finding the found out. And when the person continuously practicing it for mindfulness meditation for 8 weeks, they found that there are 4 regions in our brain increased. 4 regions in our brain are increased. At the same time, there is one part of our brain activity is decreased. So what is the area? One is hippocampus. What is the area is increased? Hippocampus size is increased. When hippocampus increase means we all know that when we are getting old, day by day, the neuron will be died, and then the cells will be degraded. So new cells will not form. When we are getting age, new cells will not form. If the new cells are formed, we can that called neurogenesis. You have to understand that there are 2 terms I would like to introduce here. One is neurodegeneration, that means decrease of neuron in our brain, degeneration. And another one is neurosis, neurogenesis. Neurogenesis means formation of new neuron. When the area of hippocampus and temporal junctions are increased, means new neurons are increases. Then only the size will be increased. Am I right? When you do mindfulness, the neurogenesis will happen, more new neuron will form. At the same time, you can look at here, it will be there in left brain and right brain. Both left side and right side, these 4 areas, regions will be developed. So that is a finding by Lazarus and team. And they also found that there is a decrease. What was the area that decreased? The amygdala activations are decreased. So what is amygdala? When something in front of the lion is there in front of you, will we sit like this? You will react, am I right? Quickly will react. So we will show that optimum reaction to that stimuli what we are receiving. I can tell you some of the example of my family. When my wife sees that cockroach, she will make a sound like anything, something, a big disaster happening in my home. I think many people are there. Cockroach will not harmful us, am I right? We have to react for that the thing which is stimulate. So why we are overreacting? It is because of that activation of amygdala. When we do practice amygdala, but when we do practice mindfulness, the activation of amygdala comes down. We feel very cool and calm. Your decisions will be very clear. Am I with you all? Can I continue? If I am with you all, put a yes in the chat box. Thank you. Yeah, lovely. Sujata Ganesan, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. I think you all with me, and I will move on to that. So here is a meta-analysis. Those who have done a research, you may know about what is meta-analysis. Can anyone? Meta-analysis is a combination of many studies. It's not a single study. There are many people, they were done in different places, and all the data were combined, and they will study about that. And that is one of the study. They found that 21 neuroimaging studies done in different places by different researchers. It's not a single person. They done with the 300 people who practice mindfulness. What they found that in the beginning, there are many regions were activated, and in their research, they found that there are 8 regions in our brain. There are 8 areas in our brain are there is an impact. There is an influence of mindfulness practice on these 8 areas. One is rostrolateral prefrontal cortex. Here, prefrontal cortex. And sensory cortex, that as I said, the accumulation of all the neurons behind. And insular cortex, hippocampus, they will say that ACC, and anterior cingulate cortex, mid cingulate cortex, and superior longitudinal fasciculus, and finally corpus callosum. Corpus callosum is the area that connects left and right brain. I will tell you in this meta-analysis of scan study, which is neuroimaging means CT scan, PT scan. You all know the different scan centers are there. No? They studied the people who done a mindfulness practices and what kind of impact it make on a person. It's not a single subject, 300 people, they accumulated what they found. Okay, these are the area, there is a change they found. Further studies need to be done. I can say that it is a meta-analysis. When you want to know about these areas and what kind of impact that will make, and when we go for further study, we can able to explore many benefits out of practicing mindfulness also. And here you can look at here. So, as I said previously, there are many studies they done, and they found that there are a lot of benefits out of practicing mindfulness. And here you can see there are mindfulness practice will make a change in our brain. Now, not a single study, there are many studies. What they found, density of the brain changes. Density of the brain changes, one. The thickness of the brain tissues, which is connected to one to another, left and right, there is a change. And they found that there is an increase, neurogenesis happening to the people who are practicing mindfulness. And they found that the fibers and glia, these are the different areas of the neuron. That when you study about the structure of neuron, and these area will be increased. And fibers is increased, the communication will quickly happen. In cortical surface area, they changed, they found that they found highly changes in that white matter and fiber density also. They found these were the changes it will make when you practice mindfulness. And you can see, when we practice mindfulness, will it make any change in our ability? Yes. First, we have to know about what is the difference between knowledge and ability. Many of us, we know what is yoga, what is mindfulness, what is neuron. Knowledge is different from ability. Ability is a potential or skill to convert that knowledge into application. Okay. So when we do mindfulness practices, it will help us to increase our concentration. Concentration is focusing at a moment. So many people still they are saying that due to this mobile phone, look at me, there are two phones in front of me. So there are two phones are there. And if it is there one phone, we'll have how many distractions? Think about if it is on two. And when you become a administrative position, you will get more distractions. So it is very difficult to concentrate even this technological wired context. It's very difficult when you want to increase the concentration and you have to go for mindfulness. I will let you know. Can anyone give me an answer for this question? What is the attention span of goldfish? The people who are allowed to keep that natural, close to the nature, they have different fish tank. Goldfish they used to keep in their home. So what is the attention span of an average attention span of 2 seconds? Okay, good try, but it's not an answer. Can you guess few more answers? So what is the average attention span of 14 milliseconds, 14 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds? That is the answer. Lovely, lovely. Answer is 8 seconds. Answer is 8 seconds is the answer. But I will let you know, the current generation, the youth, those are going to school and colleges. When you study about that span of attention among human beings, it is less than that goldfish. Less than 8 seconds. They are having only 7 seconds. The attention span comes down. And the people who are about 20 plus, 25 plus, and you are not having any problem with attention span as of now. But I will let you know. This problem is there for the people who are more connected to technology and internet and social media, and their attention span comes down. When the attention is not there, we cannot be able to concentrate. So that's why they are saying that when you practice mindfulness, and you will have better concentration. When you want to make a change in your family members, you can practice mindfulness. The second one is strengthen our emotions. I'm saying that emotion. What is emotion? There are two types of emotion. One is positive, another one is negative. If I ask you, can you name few emotions? Can you type in the chat box? Can you name at least 3 emotions at a time? What is the meaning of mindlessness? Okay, we are not discussing about it. The question and answer will take later. I think we are having time. Crying, happiness, jealous, anger, aggression, lovely, anger, surprise, sadness, heartedness, bored, love, okay, love, anger, jealous, vengeance, lovely, worry, love, sorrow, excitement, depression, amazing, amazing. Okay, now look at your answers. Look at your answers. When you look at the inputs given by you all, most of the emotions are negative, am I right? Look at the answers given by yours and your friends. Most of the answers are negative. Why? It is because we were focusing on that negative emotions rather than positive emotions. If I ask you, can you name that positive emotion? Positive emotion. You have to tell me the name of positive emotion. Happy love. Okay. I'll see how many. Only happy love only. Okay, Valentine's Day. Empathy. Happy love and pride. Amazing. Pride is another positive emotion. Lovely. Appreciation. Appreciation, it is a part of a peace, compassion, happiness, acceptance, gratitude, kindness. Amazing. Love, enthusiasm. Okay. So when you even collate all these inputs given by you, it will come nearly 5 positive emotions. Am I right? But I will let you know, there is one researcher, there are many researchers are there. There are 2 researchers are very popular and finding out positive emotions. One is Martin Seligman. In his PERMA model, PERMA V, the first one is positive emotion. And second important researcher is on Barbara Fredrickson. She is a Canadian positive psychology researcher. I can say the father of positive emotion, I can say. She's a woman, but we can say that she's a prominent researcher. She has done nearly 3 decades of research and she found the 10 core positive emotions. 10 core positive emotions. Among the 10 core positive emotions, she said that one emotion is a mother of all the positive emotions. And she said that when you practice mother, I will let you know. Just imagine that a duck and a duckling, when they are walking, the duck is on mother duck and duckling will follow where the mother goes. All the duckling will follow. So when we know about mother of all the positive emotions, when we practice that mother of positive emotions, and we can able to invite all other positive emotions. Okay, so I'll let you know what are the things that comes under. Thank you. Thanks so much. The answer is that the mother of positive emotions and gratitude. Gratitude is mother of all the positive emotions. So what is gratitude? For example, when I beginning my session, I recorded my gratitude to the organizers. I thank them for giving the opportunity. Am I right? But actually, there is another side is there for happy gratitude. One is we are thanking the people who are giving or helping us. Second one is acknowledging that, appreciating that good thing in us and others. When I see someone is an active and attending, I have to appreciate them. Yes, you are more attentive in my session and you are looking good. Have ever we say these kind of things? If you do so, yes, lovely, recognize. When you recognize the good qualities in others, that is gratitude. So as I said, when you want to practice all the positive emotions, practice gratitude alone. There are a number of ways are there, and you can practice gratitude. And when we practicing gratitude, it is one of the mindfulness techniques. And we all know that when we take up the yoga courses, you may know about the Ashtanga yoga. There are many versions are there. Physical body postures, breathing, meditation. There are many classifications. They will cleansing. These are the things they will say. But writing gratitude also one of the mindfulness practice. Okay. And when we do this mindfulness practice, our emotions will be regulated. And when you have the conflict with your partner, or husband or wife, when you have the conflict with your partner, when you practice gratitude journal, you focus only on the positive side of the person instead of focusing on the negative side. I will let you know, when you are having close relationship, when you are 100% love with your partner, you cannot find any mistakes. You will see only good qualities. At the same time, when there is no love, if it is decreases, and you will find only the fault, and you will keep insisting and you will make the person to impulse and react for that. Am I right? Those who are in a love and relationship, you know, closely connected to the example what I'm giving. When you are in 100% love with your partner, you will not find any mistakes. At the same time, if the love comes down, you can find only the mistakes. And these emotional regulation help them to focus on the positive side of the person rather than the negative components. Even it doesn't mean that they are not having negative, they will have. But instead of focusing on negative, they focus on the positive. They know about who they are and what they can do, what are the benefits, what are the skills they possess, that clarity they will get it. And it is a meta-analysis done by Tong and his colleagues. Self-regulations. Self-regulations, very, very important thing. How many of us we are having self-regulation? We can able to control ourselves. I can give one classical example. When the new year comes, everyone make a resolution that I want to go to that exercise gym, or I'm going to that yoga studio for practicing yoga. And the first month we can find out more number of people will be there, and over a period of time this number will comes down. So it is because of poor self-regulation. When we do that better self-regulation, and they will do. And when you do mindfulness, it will help us to develop these skills. And there are a few more things. Look at here, there are two areas, the Tong and their colleagues, what they found that one is about anterior cingulate cortex and another one is the orbitofrontal cortex. And these two regions will be activated when you practice mindfulness. So what the people will get, they will be more conscious decision they will make. Yes, this is my decision. I will follow that, what I want. And they will pay more attention. As I said, the technological distraction will not make any impact on their attention span. So when you practice mindfulness, and these two regions will be activated, influenced, and it has a lot of benefit for the people who are practicing it. And there are a few more regions, these are more specific, what they call as prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex, we can look at that. And posterior cingulate cortex. And these two areas will be highly active. Why these areas need to be highly active? Many of us, definitely, we cannot stay away from the negative emotions. Negative emotions we may experience. Many people, I don't know how to come out from that negative thinking, negative emotions. I can say we can able to deal with these kind of negative emotions when these areas will be activated, and these areas are will help us to have more positive emotional experience rather than negative emotional experiences. Look at that. For example, when we don't know how to reach a particular destination, a person who knows that, why are you searching here and go that way? That is the way. This is the way you have to reach your destination. So when you do the mindfulness, and it will help us to have focus on that positive state of emotion. And there are one more, I think we are having a little more time. Moderator, please stop me if I'm taking more time. And insula and medial prefrontal cortex. They found that the right insula and medial prefrontal cortex, and there is an increase in the connectivity of right insula and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex when we do mindfulness practice. And you know that they found the connection, but we are not having any evidence. As per my knowledge, as per my search, I couldn't find out what kind of impact that will give. But they found there is a connection is there between insula and medial prefrontal cortex. And I think this is my last slide, and there are many things are there, but it is my last slide. When we say something to our friends, hey, you come, man, do and practice mindfulness. They will ask you, what is the benefit, man? Generally, especially this present generation, they will ask you, what is the benefit? Why you have to go for mindfulness practices? When we say, when we are an ideal role model, when we practice mindfulness, and we can show the changes in ourselves. The people who are observing, look at that person who is looking very young. Look at the person is very clear in his thought. Look at the person, what is making the decisions are correct. When we show the ideal things, and the other people will follow. So I'm going to let you know some of the benefits, not all the benefits. Understand? Some of the benefits which were recorded by practicing mindfulness. Stress. When we are stressed, our cortisol level will be very high in our blood, and which is the root cause for our poor immunity. When your immunity is not good and the COVID comes, straight way to that, whatever it may be, Sutta or Low or Naraka, whatever you want, you can go. So immunity, when you want to boost, not only vitamin C and related components, amla, other kind of the spinach. Now, these vegetables will give supplements, but psychological way you can able to come down the cortisol level in our blood when we are constantly stressed, and this cortisol level will be continuously will be there. I still remember there are many people, those are without reason, they experience stress throughout the day. They may get heart attack and they will die. And I will let you know, unless if you don't release your stress, imagine that you are blowing a balloon. We can able to control that flexibility in a particular level only. After that, it will burst out. Every one of us, we are having the ability to manage stress some extent. If it goes beyond that, all the health related problem, emotional problem, cognitive problem, mental problem, everything will come. And one negative thing will come, and everything will come. I don't know how many of you know about that. When you go to the field, in agriculture field, they used to irrigate the land. The irrigation land will be there. At one point they start, and the eighth they have to irrigate the small portion of the land. When there is a small hole in the beginning, it will make a bigger one, and they may not get the irrigation at last. So we have to address immediately. So one of the way, stress management, I'm not saying that is the only way. To reach the Chennai, there are many ways are there. So one of the way you want to take care of your stress management, mindfulness practice. And when you want to have that lower blood pressure, BP. I still remember as an alumni of ANNAMALAI University, there's nothing wrong in to say that my experiences with that alma mater. There was an administrator when I was doing my PhD. He was very, very strict. Mamta Das. You all may, some of you may hear, know about her. And even faculties, students, when they look at her, the BP level will increase without any reason. With psychologically, they were affected, the BP level goes up, and how they will calm down only when she is disappeared from that place. So when you want to calm down your blood pressure, when you practice mindfulness, when you know about what are the areas you need to activate, what are the areas you need to deactivate, and that will not affect you. There are many of the faculties I know, even with that, they sustain their happiness. And the chronic pain, I think the previous presentation, Lakshmi Narayanan's a lovely answer, I can say, logical answer. Will yoga cure that cancer? He said no. But the pain we are experiencing because of cancer can be addressed. That is the right answer we have to give to the society. And when you practice mindfulness, it will help you to manage your pain. But it will help us to improve the sleep. I still remember my days when I was doing my school days. I used to go to bed at 8:30 or 9, not more than that. And when I getting into that college, now I'm going to that after TV, where in most of the homes we used to go at 10. But when the mobile phone comes down, I don't know at what time we are going to bed and how much time we are spending for the quality sleep. It is very less. And when you want to have the improved sleep quality, even though we had a better sleep, 7 to 8 hours, we feel that next day very uncomfortable. We feel not relaxed at all. We feel uncomfortable. It is because the beginning when I was asking about the neurotransmitter, melatonin hormone is not secreted adequately. When we had a melatonin hormone, we have to cut from the blue light. You have to stay away from the blue light. Now I'm in front of the blue light, and it may affect my sleep quality also. So I'll stop quickly read out, and we have to take the questions from the participant. And there are gastrointestinal problem. It will help us to overcome, and higher brain function will be there. Clarity in thinking, increase our immune function, as I said earlier. Lower your heart rate, increase the awareness what is going inside and outside, and your focus and attention will be good, and you will have the clarity of thinking, and you perceive as it is, and your anxiety level will come down. I still remember there are many of the occasions when I was invited to speak in front of many people, and I can see that my hands will shake like nothing. I don't know how to face the crowd, but I feel more comfortable in front of the system because you are all discarded. Even though nearly 400 members are there, I feel that okay, I'm dissociated, that anxiety is not there. So this is a mindfulness. And that benefit you will get when you practice mindfulness. Lower anxiety level will be there, and you will be calm and internal. You feel good, and you feel connected with other members. Decrease stress, and this is related, right side related to that employees. They will not be aggressive at all. The good job performance will be there. Increase that they can able to come out from the teasing and bullying. They can increase the resilience among the children. Their mental health functionings will be very good. And they can cope that stress adversities in their life. And these are some of the benefits. With that, I can stop here, and we'll go for Q&A. Before that, again, I thank my alma mater and Sushila ma'am and all the coordinators, Pandya Manisar and Director, Vice Chancellor, for giving that amazing opportunity to share my bit of learning and experiences and my research with you all. Thank you so much. And I'm ready to answer some of the questions. Moderators, you can. Thank you. Thank you, Kavita. And there are many names are saying thank you.
Yes, sir.
Best.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Please, dear participants, sir, we have received very good feedback from the participant and a very good interaction with you, sir.
Thank you.
On behalf of the IQAC, I thank sir. And then please put your questions, any clarifications in the chat box, please.
So contact detail they are asking, ma'am. Where I have to type, I don't know. Okay, I'll do type.
So we have received a very interesting, knowledgeable session. Need more sessions with you, sir.
Sure,
Definitely,
sure,
participants. With all your
to.
support, definitely, sir. Excellent presentation, and with a lot of research evidence also. Participants, we have posted the feedback form. You please fill up.
Thank you.
Sir, one question, sir.
Yes,
I want to know how to be neutral in life, not to be affected by the harmful tragedies and not be a content by the happiness, from Yamini Malhotra.
Ma'am, there are many mindfulness practices are there. Actually, I thought of giving some of the techniques, but due to the time not availability, I couldn't talk about the different strategies, a different methodology we can practice mindfulness. I will let you know one technique. In yoga, as they said that there are different practices are there. For example, physical posture, that is also mindfulness need to, but when you want to get more mindfulness, and I can suggest you go for mindfulness breathing and mindfulness meditation. So these will help you to have more clarity. And if not there, if it is not yoga, and if it is in Buddhism practices, I can say they are having that Zen meditation. Zen meditation they are having. You can there are many areas they will provide training under. Even online Zen, I can say I was attended 21 days program on Zen meditation, Zazen, and the Buddhist monk will come and teach you, and they are happy to teach with the people who are interested. And another technique is on gratitude. How we have to be less reactive to the stimuli. My personally, I can say that there are many points are there. One is about practicing gratitude. Gratitude we can express in many ways. Gratitude journaling, gratitude wall, gratitude note, gratitude art, mandala art and worldly art. These were the practices you can do for being mindful. So when we practice mindful, we will be less reactive and we will not focus on the negative emotions. We will be very happy and we will be look very charming. And
thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue.
I can find some of the questions how we can control our anxiety, sir.
Yes, sir.
My classical example itself, I still remember. I hope some of them they may aware about it. When I was in a faculty of Rajiv Gandhi National Institute, it's an Institute of National Importance. Government of India. It is there in Sri Perumbudur. I was a faculty in the Department of Psychology. So one occasion, the minister came for international conference. I got an opportunity to welcome, just propose welcome in English. You know, like Mudalvan movie, like Arjun, I practiced a week when the conference announced. From the day onwards, I practiced bathroom, bedroom, even with my wife, even I call my parents, I used to practice it. Everything I have done. On the day came, when I was called for that, say the welcome address, I was frozen. My heartbeat goes up, highly anxious. I cannot utter a single word. I cannot utter a single word in a high profile function. And they told me that how this person completed PhD. So this is the word they told, the minister told. How you recruited this person. Think about it in such a humiliation situation I had because of anxiety. But that time I don't know how to overcome my anxiety. Now I know what I will do. Simple breathing exercise. There is a breathing called square breathing. Look at that image you can see in the Zoom. Square breathing. Inhale. Whatever the count you can able to. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Give a pause. 1, 2, 3. It is a square breathing, and you can take whatever you can increase the number of count, and when you do so, your anxiety level will come. And I will give one local example in our thing. When I'm getting more anxious, when my mom look at me and she know that okay, this person, why you are not normal, and she will ask me to drink water. A small cup of water that will help us to be normal. So when you're getting anxious, you can do this mindful practice. Drinking as it is. All the sensory things we have to focus on that. I will let you know one important thing. Our brain can focus one activity at a time. Even if you are a superhuman being, you cannot do. I'm playing 2 songs. You can listen only one song. You cannot, as I said, you cannot do 2 things stimuli at a time. But you can able to connect other stimuli. Visual and auditory you can able to connect. Not 2 visuals at a time. You cannot look at here and you cannot look at there. Okay. So come down the anxiety. You can practice any one of the strategies. There are many strategies out there, nearly 100+ strategies. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Which meditation will work for best for panic attack?
Ma'am, for that I am not an expert. If I give answers, I think it is an unethical.
Yes,
I think there are many experts I hear for meditation. They will definitely give guide you. Anyone.
Yes. Only thing you participate, you have to choose the right master.
Yes.
Right. Next, mindfulness advisable for kids at the age of 4 and 6, like this.
Yes, ma'am. See, and the research is what I found that they will be little impulsive in the beginning. So behavior, when you regulate in the beginning, I can tell you, there are many children will be there. Some of the children, they mimic the parents. If you want to make your children read the books, you have to read. And they will look at them, oh, what are you doing? I am enjoying that reading. You have to say the positive word about what you're doing, and they will do it. And when you want to make your kids less than 5 years, they want to practice mindfulness, you have to do that exercise and show the benefit. You can show the benefit, not say the benefit. You have to show it in an accent, not in a word. Word means, there are many parents are what they will do. If you study, you will be get into that better position and you'll be good in that particular place. They know everything, but you have to show that why you have not studied good and why you are not in a good position. That is a question you may expect from your child. So when you want to make our children to practice mindfulness, we have to be do in front of them, and we have to show that fruit out of cultivating that mindfulness.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. How to overcome the blood clots in brain, if possible, through the mindfulness techniques?
Ma'am,
is it possible to?
No, logically it is not possible. I can say logically it is not possible. Blood clot means definitely we have to go to the neurosurgeons only, because there are many factors involving the cause for blood clots. It may be external harm the person may have, or maybe internally, or internal means psychological distress the person may, or the drugs they may take. The drugs, whatever it may be, and that may influence a lot of problem in our brain, and that can be addressed only by the specialist, not by general people. I'm given that the research outcome only. It doesn't mean that I involved conducting all the research. But I found that logically, when we do the research, okay, these are the research they have done, and we can say that reliable source. We can say reliable. That's why I said beginning. This is a pen I got it from Mahatma Gandhi. No one will believe.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. The last question: how to handle egoistic persons without getting anger, sir?
Many times I told that there are many people near and dear, even your husband, your wife, your parents, your children, and they will make you to behave without any reasons. I can say that you have to keep in your mind. So why they are asked, for example, when they come to know that particular word harming you, they use more frequently. Why are you getting angry? Because of the particular word they uttered. And when you know about it, okay, these words are affecting me, and they are using it again and when you are not respond, when you are not react to that particular stimuli, and they will not use it again. And for that, I can say that, as I said, less activation of amygdala. There are many practices are that mindfulness practice itself help us to lower down our amygdala activations. When you lower down amygdala activity, and you can able to manage any kind of disturbances you are getting in your life. So this is the input I can able to give. And number of activities are there, and all the mindfulness practices I can say. Recently, I conducted a program on mindfulness 75 exercises. So I have gone through one of the training program in which 111 mindfulness practices are there. I practiced, and I found that among the 111, 75 are working for me. So I made it all the 75 alone. I'm training the other numbers. So you can also do it, take it and practice it. And if you found effective, you can continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Definitely, we'll have a practical session also, because most of the participants need a practical demo of mindfulness, and so many questions also received. Due to shortage of time, we have to close this session with the feedback. Better, sir. Definitely, we'll have a participants. Definitely, we'll have a practical demonstration with SAR and other resource person which you have mentioned daily. We'll have a future programs. Definitely, participants will touch with the resource person. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Just I have to give a sum up of your session. Very good feedback we have received, sir. Sir has presented in the topic neuroscience of mindfulness. So what is neuroscience? What is mindfulness? That is what, why, how he has explained. Why we have to practice neuroscience and how we have to practice mindfulness. Theoretically, he has explained with the research evidence also. So he has showed the case study in July 2018. So for why we have to practice mindfulness, he has nicely explained. And what is not mindfulness also he has explained. That we have to know definitely, sir, because it is not a relaxation. Because so many questions I have received here, is it equivalent to meditation or which practice? So it's already sir has nicely explained. It is not a relaxation exercise. It is not a way to avoid difficulty, not a way to bypass personality problems, not about achieving a different state of mind. Then he has showed many studies with the proved research reviews regarding with regard to mindfulness, neuroscience of mindfulness, and he has explained amygdala and explained based on the review of literature, that is Lutz and Davidson, that is in the year 2008. He has examined how mindfulness impacts of amygdala, which is the region of the brain that is primarily associated with the emotional process. So in this study, it was determined that this area of the brain tended to be less active following the mindful sessions Sir has given with the hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, he has explained, and the thicker cortical region, sir. So thicker, that is, it is related to the attention and sensory processing at the age of 50 and all. It's a long-term mindfulness meditation practice, he has explained, and in the brain, white matter and the gray matter, that is also he has explained nicely, given explanation. That is aging, we can find out when age increases, they found that the gray matter will be the decreased based on the women researcher he has mentioned, and who practiced mindful meditation in their 40s and 50s age, he had the same amount of gray matter as those in the 20s and 30s, we feel younger. Definitely, sir. And one question asked from the participant, the temporoparital junction, again, based on the lesson study, mindful meditation would have on psychological well-being. After 8 weeks, the brain volume had increased in 4 regions of the brain. The most relevant of these regions included the hippocampus, and the temporoparital junction. So areas of the brain that decreased from the study, that is included in the amygdala. The study results also showed that amygdala decreased, which meant the fight to flight response. Sorry, as mentioned. So the reaction of the threats also decreased. And Sarah has given the benefits of the mindful techniques and love. Is a very elaborative, detailed lecture you have given, sir. And on behalf of the IQAC-ANNAMALAI University and Center for Yoga Studies, thank you for a wonderful session with a beautiful interaction with the participants. Also, you have clarified all the doubts which are raised by the participants, and fully, I hope participants are fully satisfied with these sessions. Definitely, daily we have a very good feedback, sir, from all the resource person. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, on behalf of the participants also. Sir has given his email in the first slide, I think. Again, you will repeat our post in the chat box, sir. If there are any queries, sir will clarify. Definitely, participants, we have a practical session with us, sir. Sir is our Annamalai product. Definitely, he can willingly come. Each and every, thank you for your immediate response. Whenever we ask, immediately you have responded also. Generally, all the participants like this. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your wonderful session, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Suresh, sir, who has been with us. And today, the 2 sessions, thank you. With his support only, we are running our center.
He's my guru, ma'am. He's my teacher, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Participants, we have posted again the feedback form. You please send the feedback form for the attendance purpose. Thank you. These are all documents. Somebody has asked your PPT, sir. If it is okay for you, you please share with me.
Ma'am,
So
I'll do share that link, ma'am, with you, and you can share with all the participants.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We are collecting. Then last day we have to put all the PPT for generally they are asking. So for that,
I'll do share, ma'am. I'll do share all my.
Please send it to my WhatsApp, sir.
Yes, I'll do it immediately.
Send it to all the group.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jaiprakash, sir, who has associated from the beginning. Jaiprakash also know you, sir. So
yes,
he only initiating this program and assisted all the technical works and everything, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am, he is very sound in technology, ma'am, when even computer was introduced.
Yes, sir.
20 years back itself, he is a computer expert.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Director IQAC, sir, and his team. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Sir, you can leave, sir. Thank you, sir. Participants, it will be available another 4 to 5 minutes. You please fill up the form and send the attendance feedback form. Thank you.